Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. About to get into game number 2 of the Specify series. A very one-sided affair in game 1.
It certainly was, but I think that that game is one of those games that you can almost say we made one mistake, invaded on Raptor Camp, when mid lane and bottom lane were both neutral, like got beaten to the punch, and then the game was just over from there. So I think that, you know, you do the hard reset. Cassio shouldn't have double buffs. Claire shouldn't get camped out like that. He should actually be able to get the push in a lot of situations as Karma. But that obviously didn't happen because of how hard he was camped. So I think that Legacy, I mean, they'll say that's fine. They showed up with a comp. They beat us out in the early game. We can play more conservatively and scale into that late game. Because their proactive plays bit them in the bumfish. It wasn't like the Chiefs were taking it to them.
Yep. Do we expect much to change coming into this game?
I don't know. I haven't got word yet from League Ops whether Chiefs will be playing on blue side of Summoner's Rift again. Chiefs are blue side again. So I think that we will see Rakan banned on red side, is my prediction.
Well, let's see if Legacy decide to take away Ejim's signature pick.
Because there's, I mean, not to give away too much, but like there's lots of mutterings going around that Chiefs play global comps to hide some of their macro things. And that Rakan plus global is busted because what you can do is you can wall off, or you can Twisted Fate port in, or you can Galio ult the Rakan. Yep. And then that makes the Rakan like that much more powerful. But to me, throwing 3 bans at the globals and not just getting rid of Rakan kind of doesn't fix the problem. Sure, you can still flash headbutt Pulve on Alistar and things like that, but they require a lot more coordination than what Rakan pressing R and just zooming around in circles does.
I wish we had the camera on you just then. Spawn just span around in a circle. Kind of like
Floyd Mayweather today. I've got the... come on. I've got the best Sivir and Rakan cosplays ever. Like, if anyone gives me a costume, I will dress up as them because I can do the animations. Lit.
Well, there is the adaptation of Rakan being banned out here by Legacy. Greg is still being taken away, so Talia is left up. So is Twisted Fate if the Chiefs decide to want to pick it up.
They didn't ban the Lucian this time, which is really interesting to me because, you know, they've obviously showed that they have a good counter pick to the Cho'Gath, to the Gnar in the Cho'Gath. Survives the lane absolutely fine and then just scales equally as well, Fish. Tally famously played Master Yi top lane against Swiper.
It was a nightmare.
In 2015 Split 1, I believe.
It was a fun game to watch. But they should pick up Kalista here. You'd expect taking it away from Raze.
Makes a lot of sense. I mean, they want to be the ones playing the mid-range 80 carry, I would say. To me, even though people say Legacy like to take it late, I always viewed them as a mid-game team-fighting team. That they would go late every now and again, but they would go there with an advantage through the ability to get on these, like, you know, Camille, Kalista, Xayah kind of carries that do well, you know, 2 and 3 items.
And I was going to say, is it going to be Maokai again? It is for Carbon. And Morgana, very early in the draft phase, picked up for Ejim. They want Cassiopeia as well. Who cares about these globals?
They're probably worried about Braum here. Morgana does well into Braum. Black Shield just nullifies a passive. You can walk away from a lot of his ganks. As long as you don't group up, the ulti is also kind of useless in the laning phase. Yep. So that's what I expect them to go towards. Corki, not a great match into Cassiopeia.
Seems like Legacy won it.
Zed?
Oh, they're throwing the gauntlet. Claire will pick up Zed in the mid lane against Swiffer.
All right, cool. So now if Swiper plays a tank, where do they get their magic damage from? Does Tally play something like a Rumble? I don't know. Does he go even further back? Does he play something like a Lissandra top lane? That's not going to happen. But, like, you have to have magic damage somewhere, Fish.
So do you think
Brand?
now... Oh, potentially for Cuphead.
Kennen. Potentially he plays Kennen.
I mean, potentially Chiefs will ban out Braum as well as Alistar here. That's what they did against Sin when Sin picked Kalista without support first draft phase.
But I think they might leave the Braum up. I don't think they're all that worried about it. I would ban Kennen plus something else. Kennen Alistar maybe. Just because they played around the Braum last game incredibly well. Obviously didn't have the Lissandra to throw in.
Alistar was the first to go.
But you want to see a magic damage-less comp coming out.
And what does that do for the Chiefs if Legacy can't find magic damage?
Well, it means that they can go a super tank top lane. Something like a Cho'Gath again and really nullify that. Even something like a Gnar that's able to go Stone Plate into, like, I don't know, something ridiculous like Randuin's Omen or something like that. To just sit on Lost all game and mean that he does next to no damage. They do get rid of the Kennen.
So they want to put Cupcake onto Braum.
Yep. Makes sense.
I mean, Braum Kalista is a good lane, as you mentioned. Morgana does well into Braum.
Yeah.
But the two bands from Legacy are Twitch as well as Zaya.
So now what do they play? And they do play...
Gauntlet?
So we saw yesterday, was it? They were happy to play Rumble as a top laner because of his push. I would like to see Kog'Maw played. Ash, interesting.
Ooh.
They are a very squishy comp. You can catch people out. Varus for the exact same reason.
Varus is rising
Not
in
the
popularity
best
as well.
Ardent Sensor user, however.
He just does well into tanks recently.
Yeah, also good laning phase.
Let's see what happens. Should be locked in here for Raze.
So there we go.
Varus Morgana, very decent lane.
Varus has a hard time getting away from Zed, however. Maybe hoping that Swiffer can help out with maybe a miasma or two.
And poor Black Shield doesn't do anything against Zed.
And what does Swiper play here? Does he play Renekton into the Rumble? Does he play Kled into the Rumble? Cho'Gath again.
Straight back onto Cho. Cho has a good matchup into Rumble. So let's see how he does.
So the thing about...
Oh, Tahm Kench makes a return.
All right.
Interesting.
Let's think about this. 1-3-1 is okay for Legacy. Tahm Kench does well with 1-3-1 comps. They lack a little bit of wave clear. Tahm Kench doesn't really help out with that. Doesn't give them all that much engage either, Fish. So they're relying very heavily on Rumble Maokai for engage, and then Tahm Kench to kind of save either Claire or Lost if they do get caught out. However, the super tanks from Chiefs, given the fact that there is a Black Shield, is going to give this comp a fair amount of difficulty, I think.
Gives them an extra front line as well.
Does it though? What does Tahm Kench do as a frontliner?
Soaks a bit of damage.
So,
That's it.
yeah, that's why I don't really call him a frontliner, because if you hop past the Tahm Kench, doesn't really do all that much. He can lick you 3 times, eat you and spit you out, but then he's already used his best ability that he should be using on his carry. He has a stun, but apart from that, he's kind of lackluster as far as frontline goes.
He can deliver carbon into the back lines maybe, but that's about it.
Yep. So some unique flanks that maybe they can get on Maokai and Tahm Kench. But apart, yeah, that's a strange pick to me. I think that they recognize the fact that they kind of got telegraphed on Alistar or Kennen, and then they're like, we don't want to play Braum. So they ended up with Tahm Kench somehow.
I mean, you're the color caster here. What, in my personal opinion, it just feels like Legacy team comp lackluster coming into this game.
Yeah.
No real frontline, and they have to really win very early to get ahead.
Carbon has to get ahead. If Carbon falls behind again in this game, they actually have no front line. You know, Tally's going to go Zhonya's fairly early on, probably a given. So we'll see whether he is able to pseudo frontline with ultimate into overheat into Zhonya's, because you can't run past that. That's one thing that you overlook as a, you know, frontliner. Your backline just gets destroyed by Rumble. So it will be interesting to see whether they can come up with the perfect team fight, because it is a very nuanced comp coming out of Legacy.
And the Chiefs won through topside last match. Yes, Raze and Egypt did very well in the bottom lane, but all the leads snowballed from Swiffer getting gank after gank from Spooks as well as Swiper. But let's see, Legacy throwing the gauntlet nice and early with Zed picked up here and Rumble topside him out. Let's see if these changes are enough. For now though, Hingers is standing by with Jish.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Jish, and this is the first time I've spoken to you since the victory yesterday, so congratulations. A 3-0 over Sin. What did you learn from those games?
I don't think we learned, like, in terms of learning, there were a few things we had to like fix in our own play. We did that overnight. We looked at drafts and things where we could have done better. But I think the biggest thing from yesterday was just that we got a lot of confidence in ourselves, and especially because they lost to Sin last split. They just felt a lot better, obviously, after beating them. Did game 1 go how you would sort of expected it to go today? Because it felt like it was a Spawn called it a shellacking, and the desk was a little bit surprised. Yeah, I mean, we were really confident heading into the Legacy series after Sin. We think that Legacy are a really slow team, so when they gave us like an aggressive early composition, we knew we'd get control of the game pretty quick. Although I didn't know it was going to be I didn't know we'd be controlling it from 4 minutes onwards. Yeah. All right. Well, finally, the caster was just saying, look, if we can get Spooks ahead of, if Spooks can get ahead of Carbon, this game's over, because Legacy won't have a front line really. Do you kind of agree with that? Yeah, I think we sort of tailored our draft around getting that. Carbon's been playing Maokai, and I think Maokai's really slow in the jungle, and if he gets behind, it's really weak. Whereas Sejuani is a bit faster clear and stays on higher HP. So that's sort of our game plan a little bit. Excellent stuff. All right, well, best of luck in the game, and thank you for speaking to us. Thank you.
Well, Jish is going to have a pleasant surprise as he heads back to his green room there.
Because he was in control of the game from about 1:10 this time around. Swiffer able to pick up the first blood. Full collapse out of the Chiefs lineup. Although Ejim and Raze, big trouble.
Raze in trouble. Forced to flash early. They turn on towards Ejim. big stun coming out from Cupcake, and the spears get ripped out by Lost.
Yeah, so we'll see whether he can actually stay in this lane now. Runs a lot of attack speed, but not any lifesteal or anything like that, Cheesy. So he's already used his potion. You can see they're marching forward. Confused as to how the Chiefs took that bad of a trade. Seems that they actually forced Carbon nearly off the first buff that he had. So a little bit strange here, Fish.
Ejim and Raze also threw their skill shots at Cupcake during that.
Oh, here we go, those spooks.
Carbon in some trouble. Gonna get locked down slightly. Oh, 1 hit point, but will pick it up for himself. Now as double buff against none from Spooks.
Yeah, so we'll see whether he can actually win it. He's going to march in front of Spooks, keep him away, and Zed is heading over. Spooks has to flash, but he doesn't get over the wall. Whoa.
Rumble's still chasing.
Yeah, I think that's a bad chase now.
Claire's still going through. Good harpoon.
Can
Claire
flash ult him.
Gonna jump on top of him. Smite onto the Scuttle Crab. Not gonna be enough. Carbon taking a lot of damage. Swiffer thinks he can take it. Good smite from Carbon. Probably gonna fall here as well. Double buff transfer to Swiffer. But Legacy are collapsing onto the snake. Double kill for Claire. Swiper forced to flash out as well.
Yeah, so big trade for Legacy there. They picked themselves up the gold lead. 2 kills over for Claire to equalize Swiffer. And he also has double buffs, Fish. That is a fantastic start of the game after Disaster. And this time, it's Spooks that actually invades aggressively. And lesson today, just don't invade jungles. As we can see, Tally sticks with the play. For some reason, Spooks pathed a little bit funnily there.
Yeah.
Made him in range for the harpoon. Turns around and tries to get maximum damage onto Carbon because he knows that's where the fight was going to be won or lost. Being able to pick up that first kill, however, Swiper wasted Rupture because it didn't actually register onto a target. And now we have Spooks going for a cheeky gank, it looks like.
Yep, big flash coming out from Tally as well. Avoided the Q from Cassiopeia.
So now they will spot Spooks because they warded the pit. No, they actually didn't.
No, they didn't. So Spooks has not been spotted out.
Undetected. Here we go.
They do lock down the support first. Ray steps forward. Second stun will come through from Spooks. Flash is available for Cupcake. Does he use it? Holding on to it. Heal being used. That's a lot of spears and Spooks. Heal comes out very early. Second binding connects. But Legacy repel this game.
Yeah, they certainly do, but the Chiefs will be able to push out, which is a good news story for someone that got beaten so hard in level 1. Still will be a frozen wave because of the cannon creep, so they don't actually go for the full hard reset yet. They need to push out the next one, Fish. And it looks like Legacy doing a good job of keeping that equal. Swiffer now in a little bit of trouble.
Ooh. Wards have been placed down quite well by Legacy here.
Don't know where Carbon is, so they do just back away.
Swiffer going to walk through. Flash from Carbon. I'm pretty sure he was arranged for that twisted advance. Swiffer, though, gets the Storm Raider Surge. Running away. Claire's now the one that's in trouble. Turns around. No poison onto Carbon, though. He lives.
Yeah, so in the end, a really good response out of Swiffer because he gets 2 flashes and doesn't burn anything himself. As you so aptly mentioned, Fish, that Storm Raider Surge just came up trumps. Spooks needs to really get in his jungle and do some farming, however. You can see his whole bottom side is up. His red buff is still up.
Amen, Carbon.
I actually don't know what he's doing, Fish.
Happy feeding at the moment. Wants to push this one out for Swiffer, who is slightly low on mana.
Yep.
Oh, gets him with the poison there. Doesn't get any Twin Fangs, though. So this lane's still going in favor of Swiffer for now. Do we ever see Claire take over?
Yeah, I think level 6, especially given the fact that Swiffer has been running heal. He gets the Ignite down nice and early, nullifies that heal. He's going to have an absolute field day. You can see top lane as well. Tally is starting to shove in at level 6, as you will want to do as the Rumble. Also, a little bit ahead in experience than Swiper, thanks to probably that pushing wave, costing Swiper some experience.
Spooks is still going top side. Hasn't picked up his red buff.
Probably going to leave it for next clear. It'll be a very quick camp to clear.
Him and Carbon are starving. Swiper has to be a bit careful because Carbon is waning. He's level 4.
Equalizer, however.
Good Rupture.
Yeah, well, they're both level 4, Fish. So it's not like he's level 4.
Second Blues respawned. Red buff hasn't been taken by Spooks yet.
Very strange.
And Pathaway having a shocker.
I mean, they're both 0-1 and 2, so they're not having that much of a shocker. You can see Tarm Kent heading into the mid lane, has exhaust available. Across the board, everyone is pretty dead even.
Ooh, big trade coming out from Swiffer there. He's still not afraid of Claire.
Certainly isn't. I mean, the big thing is if Claire ever gets hit by the ultimate, he dies. The grounded also just ruins his day. You can't ult off grounded. It's considered a gap closer. Don't know why. Just is. So there are definitely ways for Cassio to still win this matchup, especially given the fact that he got gifted 2 very early kills.
Yep. You can also throw the grounded on the ally who's been altered by Zed. Yep. He can't go anywhere.
Can't go back.
Has to fight. Poor guy. But they picked it into this matchup. So Legacy were confident. Rotation coming out from their bottom lane though. Lost and Cupcake are making their way down.
They can toss Cupcake at him. They've called it out because Spooks was able to spot it.
Good pink wards as well.
Yep.
Now Ejim and Raze, they're going to take some control of the bottom lane, but still level 5 to level 6 on the 80 carries.
I think across the board, Chiefs just need to regain some vision control on this side of the map. You can see that it's not going all that well. They've just sweeped out 2 pink wards, although now Spooks, yep, very smart tactical retreat there. Carbon would have eaten him alive with Claire behind him. The big thing is whoever face checks who, if they have a jungler with them, will probably die. Because, you know, you can already see the fact that both mid laners have some good items at this stage of the game, Fish. And the junglers are very underleveled. So if you bring a mid laner into a jungle fight at this stage of the game, the jungle is not going to do all that much, I don't think.
They are CC bots at the moment. Not very good ones.
You know, if Swiffer or Claire actually ults them before the CC comes down, I don't even know if they're CC bots. I think they're just lambs to the slaughter, unfortunately.
But everyone's just going to farm up for now. Top lane still very even between Cho'Gath as well as Rumble. Rumble does have a slight lead thanks to the extra assist and this big wave that's crashed in towards him.
They're also holding onto teleport, not wanting to use it. You can see a change up in a build from Swiper this game. Probably going to go to an adaptive helm as his first item. Could definitely understand the attractiveness to that against the Rumble. Not fun to stand in this without it. Also looks like he's going Emax even into the tougher matchup.
Yep.
So can just continually freely push waves because you get more mana back from your ring than what you do from having to cast E.
Claire's going to head back to base as well. He's got his first item power spike of the Yomos.
So once again, you know, in solo queue, you would expect to see the Dusk Blade Rush for that one hit. However, in pro play, the movement speed still being favoured. We saw that last night in Khan. We also are seeing it today. See double wards in the top side of the map means Swiffer's not going to be able to get anything done.
Turns them in lane to deal with Claire.
A grounded into a Spooks ult at this stage would probably mean Claire's death, given the fact that he just
flash.
did that.
There's the miasma as well as the petrifying gaze. Claire's going to fall. Teleport's coming in as well as Tom Kench. Completed teleport coming out from Big Swifts. Good sidestep from Cupcake. He flashes forward. Silence a little bit too late, but Carbon's in so much trouble. Swiffer tanking up the turret. Good nom-nom from Cupcake saves his jungler. Now mid lane turret under siege.
We already talked about this. The junglers just can't get close to the mid laners at this point. We saw the fact.
They're still going for it. Face call comes out from Loss, keeping Tom Kench alive. He will go further forward, locking down Spooks, but Swiper doing a really good job of tanking the turret.
Yeah, but at the same time, they've used so much now, and they need to get out. Raze is going to be slowed by that Ren. Also, Equalizer on his head.
Flashes away. Swiffer gets a heal from Raze, very crucial. And now Legacy potentially take Infernal Dragon.
Yeah, it certainly looks to be the case. I mean, they've got the Callista. Boots 2 have already been picked up, and they don't have any teleports to get back towards this. So the Chiefs, even though they grabbed themselves a kill, may give up the most important dragon in the game just from a little bit of a greedy overchase on that mid lane.
We have to see if it's going to be worth it. It's a 500 gold lead for the Chiefs. But most importantly,
mid lane turret. I was going to say, mid lane turret is really low. So if Claire dies again, that's when it becomes worth it. If they can kill Claire on this ultimate coming up from Spooks in about 20 seconds.
He's up against a Cassiopeia who's so far ahead. Double mana items, Seeker's Arm Guard stacking as well to deal with the damage coming out of Claire.
Yep. Isn't that really silly about Cassio? She just builds whatever she wants. She doesn't really have an item path anymore, Fish.
She's a machine gun mage. And this is what happens when we have machine gun mages in the meta. Looking at you, right?
Oh, no.
Carbon, what are you doing?
Spooks is chuckling.
I understand.
Carbon's throwing his hands on his head.
I understand you're a Christmas tree, but they can spot you out next to the normal ones on your right.
It's because of the damn fairy lights. Why do they put me in fairy lights, he says.
Turn them off. Cut out the power.
But again, the Chiefs are just unrelenting in their pressure in both games. It's been tiny mistakes from Legacy, you know, an invade, an over-aggressive stay. The use of Claire's Shadow on a creep wave, but it's come up and cost them massive. I was saying that, you know, the Fire Drake might not have been that big deal. They still bring 3 people mid lane fish, and they just knock it down. Chiefs Esports Club playing very good, punishing League of Legends. They're not making many proactive plays themselves, but every time there's an opening, every time there's a little window, just darting in there.
And do you eventually look towards the Cassiopeia in the rest of the series? Because Chiefs are happy to pick it very early on.
I mean, it's Swiffer's best champion, to be brutally honest. I watch a lot of high elo solo queue. Claire and Swiffer, as well as Fanties, my favorites to watch as Claire goes on here.
Ooh, there's going to be a time catch coming through. There's the ultimate. Miasma doesn't connect. Ultimate dodged out. Good death mark. Swiffer stays very healthy. 2
ultis for 2 ultis. In the end, that is going to be a fair trade. Swiffer needs to be care of the Tahm Kench, however. And you would say that Zed's ultimate is required to kill Cassiopeia, whilst Cassio's ult is not required to kill Zed at this stage in the game. So Claire turns it around. Claire's Zeds looked pretty good apart from that one mistake where he threw out a W randomly at a creep wave.
He picked it up once during the regular split, and then Legacy got a win off the back of it. Yep. He's always been a really good assassin player. I'm really excited to see him pick it up in game number 2. So potentially for the rest of this series, we can see more coming out from Claire.
Yeah, Claire's really funny, right? Because he's a mid laner that doesn't play many mages. He plays 80 carries and assassins pretty much exclusively. Obviously now he plays things like the Victor and the Orianna, so that's not necessarily true anymore. But it's just one of those old school things that we used to see a lot. He's an amazing Lucian player. I'd be excited to see if he goes towards that at all in this series.
Yeah, it wasn't banned out at all this time.
We saw a triple play it once and then never see it again. Against Sin Gaming. Now, Egypt and Ray is also stepping up in this lane. Good punish from Lost there. Got a lot of damage onto Egypt. Egypt must be running GP10, however. As Tally, you're in a little bit of trouble, my friend.
Yeah, Swiper. One more spell rotation could knock Tally down into kill range from Feast.
Certainly could. And he's about to tick level 11 against Big Swips.
Eats a minion instead.
Yeah, that's good. He's playing for the long game. He knows I don't have to kill him in laning phase. The fact that, oh, actually, Tally's upped a lot of CS. I was going to say the fact that they're even, but they're not. Tally, credit to him, is doing a very good job up here in the top side of the map.
We know that Swiper is, well, 400 gold behind. Tally's going to get even further ahead with this equalizer. Good rupture.
Although Swift is here, as is Spooks.
The poor Rumble flashes on him straight away. The Chiefs, they don't even have Mercy spawn.
They don't. They're just using everything. No hesitation. 3 members come out of Fog of War at the exact same time. Although now there's going to be a Tahm Kench ult behind them.
Lost gets on top of Raze, throws out his ultimate. Egypt's trying to slow them down. Lost still going forward, rips out the spears. Good exhaust. Is it enough? Fate's call. Throws them out. Can the Licky Tongue thread the needle? Can't quite do it. Chiefs Wars gate, but here he comes from the mid lane, from the shadows. Raze falls first. Egypt misses the Dark Binding. He is nervous. Got the shaky hands already. Ignite is ticking. One more to attack is going to be up and pop. Double kill picked up by Claire.
Yeah, and Claire played that probably as bad as you could. Missed double shurikens, used his E before he went in with his W as well, I think. However, still able to pick up that kill. Swiffer looks like he wants to defend, and he might die as well.
Carbon locks him down with a full combo. Flash exhaust, but heal as well. Storm Ready Surge still available for Swiffer. Gets locked down. Good petrifying gaze, but Legacy fight back nice and strong.
They certainly do. That is a huge turnabout. It looked like the Chiefs were going to have about a 2,000 gold lead, but 3 kills and a turret brings this game back to dead even. And Claire, 5-1-0, goes back, gets himself a Dustblade, and could be the solo carry that this team needs.
This is turning into a very spicy game here. Ardent Sensor has been picked up by Ejim. Adaptive help complete for Swiper, and now Swiffer's truly stacking up that Rod of Ages.
Some counter jungling being done by Carbon. Risky area.
Oh, Dark Binding connects. Red buff falls to Ejim. He's now going to slow down Carbon for days.
He has to flash. These invades are getting a little bit dicey. Your whole team's just shot. You suspect that he's going to do that. And he's going to stop his recall again, it looks like.
Not yet.
Although now, Spooks is being a little bit stupid because he's also about to die.
He does have Ejim, so he's fine.
He wasn't fine. I mean, there were 4 members in that area.
Bottom lane outer turret is going to fall, though. if they decide to push for it. Rift Herald's going to do the job. One charge from her will take it down.
Potentially dropping that, and the reason they wanted to stop Carbon's recall so bad is because I think it's going to be another Fire Drake picked up here. See whether it is the case. As they've started it up straight away. Yeah. So that's why they wanted to drop Rift Herald.
They want to fight. Teleport's coming out from Swiper very early.
Oh,
Raze! His health bar is gone! Claire goes on a rampage, takes down the perfect player, and the Chiefs have to flush over the pit to get back to safety. Cupcake still wants to chase, slows down Swiper, Lost wants to continue.
And you can see how much damage a fed Zed does at this stage of the game. Uncontested in DPS, goes in and just one hit the AD carry. And you can't use your ulti that way. Also, really strange that Raze has gone towards Merc Treads. I would, oh, that's a whiff.
Spooks, you need to calm down.
I would have said that in this game, going towards something like Ninja Tabby, probably a lot more efficient.
No protection for him just yet. Knight's Vow hasn't been complete by the jungler. No locket from the support.
But he does have protection if he's with his team. Silence.
Yep.
Miasma. Exhaust is also there. So there are ways that they can actually... Ooh, Cupcake, you're in big trouble, mate.
Carbon's going to throw down the ultimate. That should protect the team. Spooks runs through it with the black shield. Lost is now here. Swiffer still wants this. Connects with the Q. Good damage coming out. But Legacy don't really want to pick this fight at the moment. And Claire, with his double item pickup, is now on split push duty.
Yeah, exactly right. Keep him in the side lanes. Funnily enough, when Gangplank was a big pick, Legacy revolutionized how to shut that down. They just played Zed every game and destroyed him in the split push. We'll see whether they're able to do something similar in this game. Swiper maybe too tanky to kill. I would like to see him try, though. That's one of those things that, like, you know, you're kind of fascinated by just how much damage Zed can do at this stage of the game. He's going towards Black Cleaver as well. Good cooldown reduction on the item. Obviously, the armor shred is still very nice.
Zhonya's Hourglass picked up very early by Swiffer. He knows he's a big target.
Yep, he has to live through these team fights. Looks like right now that Raze cannot. So we'll see whether that is able to happen. Even Swiper, one magic resistance item, straight away towards... Ooh, maybe that's all he needs. Straight away towards armor as well. Glacial Shroud as well as Boots 2 picked up for him.
Yeah, he's a strong, independent Void monster at the moment.
3,000 health Void monster is what he is. Maybe just spotted the departure of Carbon in the top lane.
Claire does have to be careful.
3 people are missing. You have to know that they're somewhere there. But I like the fact that Spooks, for the last outer turret, is trying to keep Raze safe. Don't know if it's going to be successful, but he's trying his hardest, Fish.
We did see how quickly Raze died, and not a comfortable spot for the perfect player.
6-1-1 Zed. This is the stuff of solo queue nightmares.
Do not like Zed. Not fun to play against. He just kills you instantly.
Chiefs trying to gain access to that ward. Has been detrimental so far. It's cost them a little bit. Swiper now grouping up with his team. Doesn't have Righteous Glory.
Good knock up onto Cupcake, but
Can just pull him back if they want.
Lost is going to get good damage down. There's the Fate's Call. It's ultimate for ultimate. Curious. Chiefs are forcing.
Chiefs want to do Baron, it looks like. Once again, they're bringing all of their members around Baron. They're trying to secure vision. They're trying to burn key ultimates to get it started. Problem was they gave up a lot that time. Carbon now wants in.
Oh, Swiffer's going to get the Dark Shield, which means Spooks gets locked down. Ejim being tagged up as well.
Probably dead.
The cleanup crew is here. Claire gets one. Ejim
flashes into
fall
a wall.
as well. Swiffer, Zhonya, Hourglasses. Good ultimate, though. Is it going to be enough? Lockdown coming out from the Maokai. Lost jumps forward. That's a triple kill. My goodness.
And that actually might mean Baron for the Legacy lineup. Let's have a look at it. Doesn't have Flash available, so Swiper can't get into the pit with the big bite. Instead, they're just going to try and push some lanes out. But Legacy in this game number 2, 22 minutes in, secure themselves a Baron and are looking to push us towards a 1-1 scoreline, Fish.
Off the back of Claire as well. 9-1-1.
They're actually collapsing onto Swiper as well now. Takes Lost with him, who has all the slows. Lumbers away. Who knew that a dinosaur that big can move that quick?
It's a 3,000 gold lead for Legacy. I'd love to see how much of that is on Claire. So it has to be all of it.
Has to be a lot.
Woo! 2,000.
2,000.
400 on Tally. Even in the jungle, 1,000 on Loss. Makes sense.
Yep. And that's with 2 outer turrets still available for Legacy. So you would have to expect, with how big Claire currently is, they should be able to take down some of these turrets just through the 1-3-1.
He's got a Black Cleaver.
Yep, he's very strong, Fish.
Do not like. Scary champion instead.
However, they haven't sent anyone top lane, so this might mean the Chiefs get one against the Tide. You can see with the Time Kench ultimate, however, playing very respectfully. Back away. And I think they need to get Swiper against Claire. It might even be too late. Maybe with the Black Cleaver, he can take down the Dinosaur. Just continue to chase him down with auto attacks and the ulti. But getting the duo lane against the Zed did not work at all.
Doesn't even feel like they need Carbon to be ahead to be a beefy tank, because Claire just kills people too quickly at the moment.
Certainly does. However, it's always been hard to close down a game without wave clear and without, you know, a real sieging team. Baron will be a big factor for them if they can get, you know, one more Baron after this one. If this Baron gets them a 5,000 gold lead, which it looks like it's going to, Fish, and then they take Baron number 2, Legacy should be able to clean this game up nice and well. But it will give Chiefs that elusive 6 minutes to be able to stall out a little bit. Turret dive coming through in mid lane, it looks like.
Throwing out some wards. Claire is being very safe in the bottom lane against Swiper.
I mean, it makes sense. Swiper's got about 5,000 health. And the bite just can never be underestimated. Like, you think you're safe, and then Cho'Gath bites you, and you're like, ah, he's done it again. However, now goes in on him aggressively. See if it works out. Swiper misses. However, Swiffer is here.
Yep, there's the ultimate coming out from Claire. Silence goes the wrong way. Claire's going to be able to live through this one.
Yeah, I mean, but in saying that, that was an ult for an ult. And they came out relatively even.
Yep.
Now Siege in the mid lane.
They throw out the Maokai ultimate. Good use of the Black Shield.
See whether they go in.
All of them. Cupcake now gets locked down. That's a dead
Carbon.
Carbon. Good use of the E coming out from the Tom Kench. They pull back 2. Tally goes into Zhonya's and lives.
Oh!
That's going to thread the needle. Connects onto the anti-carry. Isn't enough. Big Swips gets that one. Spook charges forward. Rupture onto Tally. Claire is nowhere to be seen. He is still split pushing in the bottom lane. Swiffer wants this one. Takes down Carbon for himself. The rest of Chiefs are still pushing
But
for
in
more
comes
kills.
Claire. All of a sudden, this is going to get dicey. Claire is on the back line.
Uh-oh, cleanup duty once again available for this Zed. Tally's trying to run away. Swiffer, Ejim, and Swiper staying close together. Gets to the blast cone. Is it enough? Silence comes through. Still a little bit too far forward. Claire could not join this fight, but Tally might get out. No, he's not. Spooks is here.
Yeah, exactly right. They'll leave that one for Swiper, so it doesn't get out in the end. And against the flow, because, as I said, Zed just has to continually split push. They're going to be able to make something happen there, the Chiefs. They come up with a 4 for 0. And I do really want to question the flash there. I think it was out of Tally that cost Lost his life. Because Lost didn't have summoners. And now they're going in on Claire. Just should be able to Ghost out. Shadow out, sorry, not Ghost. If you watch that again, Tally with Zhonya's, I think, flashed a Dark Binding. And Lost didn't have summoner spells. And unfortunately for Lost, that meant that he was just a sitting duck. Got nailed by the Dark Binding. Cupcake had already used his Eat onto Carbon, who got caught on the front line.
Yep.
And we said that Carbon didn't need to be all that tanky, but it looks like he needs to be a little bit tankier than what he is, Fish.
Yep.
Because he died very quickly.
It's starting to get a bit scarier now as well, as Claire picks up Merc Threads and QSS.
He didn't get any rounds of his passive off. So let's talk about the difference between Maokai and Sejuani's ultimate for a second. Not ultimate, passives. So what it means is in a team fight that is one and done, Sejuani's passive is super strong. As we might have a scuffle here.
They engage. Good Black Shield. Spooks does not get locked down. They still want this blue buff though.
You can see that the Zed is looking for Ejim.
Ooh, very scary Zed.
Continuing to go in here.
Spears coming out from Lost. He picked up the blue buff for himself.
So that
Now
was a
Siege
perfect
mid lane.
example. You see that Spooks, once he has his passive up, very strong. As soon as that's down, not as tanky. However, Carbon needs to auto-attack people to be
There
tanky.
goes
Raze,
Claire. On top
ooh.
of Raze, Claire will be able to back out, and Raze
Live.
live.
No!
What the heck? That was so much damage. Legacy trying to go underneath the turret. Good miasma from Swiffer. The tank is dead. Spook splashes away. Rupture connects to the Cupcake. He's forced to flash away. Zhonya's being used by Tally. Claire still wants in on this fight. 1-for-1 trade.
What a huge team fight. I mean, I thought the Raze was going to live through all of that, Fish, but not gets popped. Claire, absolutely monstrous at the moment. 10-1-1 is going to go grab that wave bottom lane as well, and will probably be going towards his next item. Let's take a look at how this one started. Chiefs wanted to defend, but instantly goes in. and he just gets his man. QSS able to get himself back out. It looks almost not fair. However, then Carbon goes too deep. Miasma comes down. You can see that they also throw Cupcake in. He takes a lot of damage and probably should have fallen if he didn't have that flash available. Sure, the carries of Legacy are still doing damage, but I feel like they're playing a tiny bit recklessly.
I really want to question as well, Night's Vow onto Swiffer. He has Zonya's Hourglass. If Claire jumps on him, he can mitigate a lot of the damage.
Yep.
Raze needs everything he can get. He needs to lock it from Ejim. He needs the Night's Vow on him as well.
Probably just needs a GA, to be honest. Just die and come
Just
back.
Get a Zonya's on Varus.
No, not Zonya's.
He scales that well with AP.
I mean, GA is like, it's a crappy item to buy. Let's just put that first. As an 80 carry, you never want to buy GA. However, still gives you AD, still gives you a little bit of armor, and it will bring you back to life when Claire one-shots you every team fight. So it maybe has some positive signs in it, this game. They go in deep onto Swiffer. He has flash, doesn't have heal.
Good use of the ultimate, but QSS instantly out of loss. Swiffer trying to run
Didn't
away.
flash.
Locked down. Zonya's being used. Dark Binding Whips. He flashes away. Karma goes forward. Somehow he's still alive. And Spooks is in on his fight. Claire is not here. No teleport for that Zen. Means that Chiefs successfully defend their mid laner.
Yeah, but at the same time, look how hard it is to kill the Legacy members.
Ooh.
He's a big dinosaur.
Very scary.
I reckon at 16 he nearly wins the one-on-one.
Potentially.
He's got a Thornmail fish. He's just going to sit there and keep autoing
I think
him.
he wins it when he gets Gargoyle's Stoneplate because that feast is going to chunk Claire.
He's going to one-shot him now.
Disgusting.
Yeah, disgusting, disgusting champion. 4,000 health at this stage of the game. However, is 2 levels behind Claire still. Pops a passive of Sejuani.
But that's about it.
So the TLDR of Sejuani versus Maokai, by the way, was in long fights where Maokai stays alive, Maokai passive OP. Short fights where Sejuani gets 1 round of her passive and stays up, Sejuani's passive better. Make sense?
Does. And Carver's been getting picked off before he can get
Oh, he's got level 16. Now how much health has he got?
Ooh, no.
4,300. He got another 400. Oh,
Stupid.
just hate to see Cho'Gath that big.
Raze's itemizing quite differently. He's going for the Giant's Belt, so probably going to be a
Randuin's Omen.
I like that.
3rd item, Randuin's Omen. I mean, it's something.
Is that the Time Lord himself?
As we see, if Bind hits here, they throw everything at him.
Oh, Tally! Forced to use Zonya's very early. Teleport in from Swiper. Claire is actually in this fight. So dangerous. Good equalizer comes out. Separates the team. Swiffer takes the full damage, but Nom 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 kills 1. Locking down Claire. Jumps on top of Raze. He stands and delivers. I will fight you, you dirty, dirty assassin. Get back to your mark. Swiffer chases them down now. Claire is almost dead. Lost almost takes down Swiper. Raze will kill Carmen. Cupcake's the next one to fall. And the Chiefs find the team fight.
And how are they keeping on doing it? All of a sudden, that Giant's Belt and Cloth Armor, he looks like an absolute genius. Raze lives through the death mark. The Chiefs killed 3 members for nothing. They're going to get the Baron this time, and the shoe is now on the other foot. Chiefs going to regain control of this game.
And look at that. Spooks understands. Night's Vow on Raze as well. Heals up so much health thanks to his 80 carry. And it's turned around once more.
And the big thing here was how much damage they got onto Tally before anything else was used. You can see now that the real team fight begins, teleport is completed. Silence is a really obnoxious spell, and he just flash eats Tally from half health. What is the counterplay to that? Cho'Gath has been nerfed so many times, but that is the one thing that still keeps him in the meta. On the back end of this fight, you can see Lost is just soloing Swiper. He's throwing so many spears into him. He does so much damage, but Swiper just does not care. And when the Chiefs can go aggressive like this on the back end of the team fight, their comp is just so good at going forward. Repetitive layering of CC. Their damage take, Baron take is so high in damage. And now Legacy, even though they're still ahead, they're going to feel like they're fighting from behind.
How do you kill Raze now? Randuin's Omen and Locket.
Well, he doesn't do that much damage.
Whew.
If Lost goes near him,
League
Lost
of
probably
Ardent.
wins.
League of Ardent Sensor, though.
That's
helps him a
true.
bit.
Ardent Sensor does help that out a bit. Infernal Drake has spawned. Chiefs, however, without flashes available on every carry.
So our production team just pointed out something to us, Spawn.
What's that?
His jungle item, Spooks. It's gone. He sold it. Shout out to @Rustyol for pointing this out to us. What the heck has he done? Cinderhawk's a good item.
It certainly is. I mean, he must have been close to Warmogs. That's the only thing I can think of. is he was like, I think it is, because he's the person that constantly has to face check. So he's taking damage before the fights, and if he's not full health at the start of the fights, then he's going to lose out. Swiper does not take damage. Fair and balanced. For those that don't know and don't watch the LPL, the Shy has been playing Cho'Gath top. It's been really disgusting. I don't think I've seen him lose a laning phase, and he is very impactful in the late game. And he's just got himself the Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Yeah, so this is the time where Lost, Claire, Tally all have to be careful.
I mean, show me how much health Lost has. Let's do the mental math quickly. He's got 4,600 health without Stoneplate, so when he doubles it, it's going to go towards 9,000-ish health.
Is it double or is it 40%?
40%. So let's say he goes towards 8,000 health, right?
Yeah.
And then of the... sorry, team fight's happening.
That's fine, he flashed.
He's got like 1,700
no, they're
health.
going.
Yeah,
they want him.
They want Carbon.
He's just a tree, leave him alone.
Carbon's going to go down here.
Raze though.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what he's doing in the back lines.
Potentially could fall as well, or they could just race towards mid lane and see if they can trade a turret for him.
Power recalls will come out.
Yeah. So they just grab a free pick, and they're going to leave Swift at top lane to push. I reckon he one-shots Raze. Lost, sorry. That's what my theory is.
I'll have to see. He also has max health damage on his E.
Here we go, actually charging in, and they've been able to catch out Spook.
That's
Swiffer
the
isn't
tankiest.
here.
Remember, they use everything on him. And you're right, without Swiffer, Chiefs can't pick that fight.
So in the end, that's very good. This is why I thought that the Warmogs would be a good item, because if he had got out of that, would have been full health without having to go back to base. Instead, they get themselves a pick. So one pick for one pick. Gold dead even at the moment.
So, Cho'Gath currently does 930 true damage without Gargoyle Stoneplate.
Yeah. So he does about 1,600 damage with Gargoyle Stoneplate. Maybe he's not in one-shot range.
No, don't like that champion.
I actually hate him. I think he's bad for the game.
1,000 health nuke. It's not just devastating to Tally, Claire, or Lost, but if you're Carbon, you think, you know what, I'm a really tanky man. Suddenly all your health's gone, because it's true damage.
Yeah, Lost has 1,600 health. There you go. Obviously, very hard for Cho'Gath to catch Lost. However, with the Righteous Glory and Flash, can potentially get in range. More importantly, as soon as Claire goes in, can probably just bite Claire and send him back out.
And how does Lost hit him? You know, Thornmail going to reduce his healing. That's going to deal damage to him as well. Late game Cho'Gath is a monster.
Claire has 2,500 health. So we'll see. Actually, we might see the one-on-one here. Claire, oh, you might go on Swiffer instead.
He does have Zhonya's, gets jumped on first. Here comes Carbon. He stands and delivers, wants to fight. Zhonya's being used. Is it enough for the death mark? It is, but everyone is here.
Oh my
Big
goodness.
shields coming out. Keeps him healthy. Lost very low. Already used QSS. Tally in the back lines gets exhausted. Meanwhile, Spooks and Swiper try and tank
The
things
fight
up.
continues.
Rupture will knock off Claire, so he can't get into the back lines anymore. Spooks still wants to go in. Raze gets the first kill aside. Big silence comes out, as well as the Dark Binding from Egypt. The Chiefs are playing team fights. The near
Raze flashes
perfection.
forward.
The perfect player wants to kill everybody on a Sire of Legacy. 3 kills picked up by the Chiefs.
Raze is just a tank. He sits there in the flamethrower the whole time, burns down Tally. All of a sudden, Spooks has to be careful. Lost has caught him out.
We'll slow him down, but force back to base.
So the Chiefs again in a team fight. That time, Claire all into Swiffer. And you can see he did a lot of damage before Swiffer Zhonya'd, but it kind of baited the whole team in. We saw how much damage Swiper did. He flash bit Lost. Lost had to use, he had a locket on him, Lost at that point. Heal, flash, as well as QSS to get away. He just wanted absolutely nothing to do with him. He was like, all right, cool, you win this round. You have no flash for the next time. Let's take another look at it. So good damage onto Swiffer, all the way down. But all of a sudden, let's have a look at this. Flashes forward, bite. Woo! That is locket and heal instantly used. And Lost, all of a sudden, can no longer hop past. As a Kalista, the ideal here is you can start hopping past the tanks. However, not going to happen. Swiffer is falling very low, will fall down.
I didn't know catfish eat snakes.
Turns out they do.
Lost will take a blue buff as well.
Minute till Baron. That could be a Baron pick right there.
Yeah, Swiffer respawns at the exact same time. You can see Raze is rushing back to base, but Tally's bottom lane without teleport.
Yeah, and Egypt as well as Spooks maybe caught out Fish.
Great Dark Binding, but QSS instantly used. Maokai ultimate charging through. Blast cones his way away.
Had to use ulti there, Spooks.
But Cupcake locks him down. Does he get the eat? He does. Brings him back into the rest of the team. Claire's here as well. Dark Shield comes out. Egypt trying to keep them alive. Look at Raze go. He's standing still and just auto-attacking like a turret next to his own. But pops from Claire's ultimate. The assassin gets the shutdown. 2 kills picked up. Why is Swiper so huge? It shouldn't be allowed.
It certainly shouldn't be, but with 4 members still alive and a fantastic pick generated from the duo of Legacy, they can now potentially look towards this Baron fight. Feast isn't going to be available. Swiffer's too far away. However, potentially with no AD carry, they don't want to start it yet.
No, Legacy don't fancy their chances. Swiffer's up. So he's going to rush towards Baron Buff. And Cassiopeia loves fighting at these choke
Actually,
points.
now they do start it. They
Here
start
comes
it with sending Claire back to base.
He's at
That's
6
a
items.
couple of... Yeah, he's going to have his ulti back available for it so he can generate a pick.
So
Swiper
it's
doesn't have Feast.
2 on 4. Ultimate thrown out by Carbon. Swiffer's
Here
in
we
here.
go. He's
flashed
dead.
on towards Swiffer. He gets locked down, instantly killed. Cupcake may die for this. Or might not actually. Swiper's going to pay.
Chiefs might have just lost the game. I mean, all of a sudden they're just feeding themselves towards Legacy for no particular reason. That is going to be Baron and Elder Dragon picked up for Legacy at a minimum fish.
Just give up the Baron.
Yeah, just give up the Baron fight at Elder. I completely agree in saying that. What a turnaround for Legacy. Just when all of the team fights were going in the way of the Chiefs, they stand, they deliver, and they come up absolutely massive. Legacy fans everywhere should be really proud of what their team's been able to do in the second part of this game. 16-2-2.
Ugh.
That Zed, I mean, probably is now starting to waste gold, but is still a full item ahead of a Cassiopeia.
19,000. Disgusting.
The Chiefs are going to have to withstand so much power.
How? How did they get rid of all this? Their wave clear is... It's okay.
Oh!
No! Spooks don't do that! You don't want that fight. Claire's going to get locked down here. Pops his own QSS. Spooks will flash away. Legacy still chasing.
All right, cool. So he lives off that one. Harpoon does a lot of damage, however. Had to use the Gargoyle Stone Plate as well as Flash there. Wanted a cheeky chance of being able to smite that one away. Certainly caught me off guard.
Very desperate plays from the Chiefs.
However, that equalizes Infernal Drake, so they both have the exact same amount of Infernals now. It's just a burn damage
Yeah, that's going to hurt.
that they really get.
Chiefs could probably still defend for a while, at least till Baron buffs down.
Yeah, the reason that it's so easy to defend against this is that you have to force onto 2 main tanks. And the damage threats can just stay behind them, because Cho'Gath actually has really decent wave clear for a tank fish. And his wave clear is annoying to step into, because if you're lost and you get silenced or something like that, it can spell your death.
You have to remember as well, Swiffer is effectively at 6 items on Cassiopeia. No boots means that those 5 items are going to match what Claire has.
Yep.
And he's slowly going to become a powerhouse. Raze is close to his final item. And this is what League of Ardent Sensor does for Egypt. He's got more items than Cupcake thanks to gold generation, and they all protect Raze as well as Swiffer.
Yeah, exactly right. And we'll see what happens now, because you can see Claire bottom lane takes Swiper out of the team fight. So unless they can get a huge pick onto Claire, this is going to tie up one of the main tanks. Sure, it is a lot of the gold lead that Legacy currently have.
16 of their kills. I'd be happy if he was somewhere else across the map, but see if Swiper can actually fight him.
Yep.
6 item Zed is no joke. In saying that, so it's 6 item Cho'Gath.
And you can see they just can't break the base. This is going to be the last real opportunity they get on these waves to have both of them available. Actually, no, they get one more after this.
See Ray slowly clearing this one out. Oh, good damage coming out from Lost. Spooks has to be careful. The burn damage from Callisto is very strong.
I mean, just the repetitive auto attacks and the constant proccing of the burn damage is what really hurt there. You can see Spooks is going to try and get back, heal up a little bit, but they want to go.
Equalizer comes out as well as the ultimate from Maokai. Chiefs should just give this one up. Let Legacy have their win here and try and fight another time. Petrifying Gaze comes out. Legacy just back off.
And I think the Chiefs have to back away. That is going to be a down inhibitor. On the last real opportunity you have for it, they force. Now Elder Drake is out. They only have Baron buff, and the Chiefs are all full health. I think that will be the win that Legacy were looking for.
Oh, that's a flash. Will they get lost? Instantly picked up by Cupcake to keep him alive. Carbon will get locked down though. The main tank of Legacy is dead. And the Chiefs are going to charge. Righteous Glory coming through. They have to be quick. Mid lane is pushing back with super minions now. Tally gets locked down. Duck binding not enough. Forces the flash. Cupcake may be the next target. Does have Flash himself, but Spooks will charge in, trying to slow him down. Face
Good
call
face
pulls
call.
him back, and the Chiefs have to retreat with just one pick.
So nice pick coming out of the Chiefs on the back end of it, but you can see how hard it is to now catch the Legacy lineup. They've just got so many ways. You know, we saw a Flash binding. Instantly, that can be QSS, that can be eaten. Not a way to catch out Lost anymore, even though Ejim used Flash on it. I mean, Carbon didn't even flash away. He just let himself die after he was caught out there. I think that was the best case scenario for the Chiefs, unless the fight is out in the open around something like Baron, something like Elder Drake that both teams will want to secure and will just keep marching forward for.
It's down to a knife edge. This is a dead even game.
Does Raze sell his Blade of the Ruined King for a Lord Dominic's regard? Is there enough armor to justify it? Carbon doesn't have enough yet. I think for now, he can keep it.
Especially when his main targets can be Tally and Claire.
Yep, that's true. Bork certainly keeps him healthier.
He needs all the protection he can get from that Random's Omen as well as the lifesteal. But 6 items across the board. Cho'Gath looking for his.
Swiffer heading towards a death cap as his last item. Would be interested to see how far away he is from that.
That's devastating.
Not
Very far.
Close at all.
And you can see the gold sync of Claire now. 2,500 gold. But the rest of the team is fairly full build except for Carbon. And he's the only one really on the team that's fallen really far behind.
I mean, he's still pretty equal in items.
He's equal with gold with Spooks.
Yeah. You can
And
see
Spooks
the
stole none.
Chiefs trying... Yeah, I don't know why Spooks did that. Have to ask the great man after the games. You can see Swiper is the response right now to the Zed, who is still massive.
16 kills.
He's going to go for it.
They want it. Deathmark straight away. There's a time
everyone's
catch
here.
coming down as well. Rupture. Not going to be able to knock them up. Big E. Claire's at half health. The rest
And
of the
all
Chiefs
of it's
collapse. That's all of Claire's
They used
damage.
too much.
This is not good for Legacy. Carbon's going to get taken down very, very low. And unfortunately, we'll be going into a pause. Seemed like something happened to Carbon there.
Yeah, it certainly did. And you can see the Chiefs' hands on head just hoping that that's not going to be a chrono break because they used so much on Swiper there and did not get him. And now the Chiefs are looking to turn around and kill 2 of the tanks on the Legacy lineup.
That was a very quick pause from Legacy there. What it looked like to me is Carbon twisted advance to something that wasn't there anymore, and he's just forever in the map. Forever invulnerable.
But I don't know whether it would have been impactful.
Yeah.
Because in saying that, it looked like he was fairly dead in saying that. If it is a bug, you know, League Ops will figure it out and we'll either have a remake or they'll tell them to resume. But as you said, it looked like he twisted advance, but it looked like he wasn't going anywhere. So we'll see exactly what happens. You can see Tally. They're all shaking. This is an intense moment in the game. And for both teams, this could be really impactful.
I mean, this could be inhibitor broken for the Chiefs, marching it straight down, and a Baron buff. Baron's going to be back up in a minute. That's enough to break the base, take a Baron, reset, look for the final push.
Certainly
They've
is.
been on the back foot the entire game, despite fighting back really well. And this is the break they needed. They couldn't kill Swiper in time, and he got the chunk onto Claire, so he's forced out of the fight. He cannot jump back in.
Exactly right, because if he was full health, even though he didn't have the ulti, he can still look for maybe a Dustblade proc, something along those lines, especially onto Swiffer. However, they used so much. Looked like they used Maokai ultimate, Zed ultimate, as well as Tahm Kench ultimate to try and get down there. I think I also heard the equalizer. Don't quote me on that one, Fish. But audio Q would be OP. And that guy on your screen is the carry. He is the heart and soul right now of Legacy.
A monster.
He's a very good mid laner.
I was really excited to watch him join Legacy. He came out and said, you know, he wasn't a big LAN player, got nervous very frequently, had the jitters, and very quickly turned it around. You know, had a few offline performances at the OPL studio, went into a few major matches, and he's turned into a star player for Legacy. Very rarely drops the ball.
Certainly doesn't.
Taking it to Swiffer today, my goodness.
Let's remember when his turnaround game was. Going into, I think, week 5 or week 6, split 1. Legacy were not looking all that promising. We're looking good, but the Chiefs, I think, were undefeated at that time. They'd taken down Direwolves in their week 1. They looked strong. And then Claire came out, and he absolutely clapped Swiffer. He just destroyed him. Played a lot of Victor that game, and was... yeah, Big Swip, still happy. When you have 9,000 health and you're unkillable, why would you not be happy? What a great way to play League of Legends. Back to the story. So ever since that point, Claire's really been a big game player for them. He only really had 5 bad weeks, Fish, and then he came online and has been a rock star.
I do want to talk about Swiper, though. He's always been a very strong top laner, always been one of the best, if not the best at times. Is he now the best top laner in the OPL?
I don't know. We haven't seen him play Chippies, right? When he played Chippies, I think, last week, he looked fine. He didn't look like he was getting pushed around or dominated. He's had some big carry performances. He's had a couple of solo kills. I'm liking his Cho'Gath today. It's not a pick we've seen from him before. I was spamming it a little bit in solo queue. I was spying on him a little bit. So if he can do what he's doing today against Chippies, then yes. But until then, the Kiwi King is the man that sits on the throne.
You'd have to think, though, he's a big part of the Chiefs right now. I mean...
Yeah, literally. Have you seen how big his character model is? He's like the size of all the other Chiefs members put together.
That Cho'Gath. But no, he's, he's very motivational. He keeps telling everyone that he will not lose.
RWNL.
He wants to prove that he's not only a tank top laner, but he can carry as well. He's doing both in this game, which is pretty disgusting.
Yep.
MVP performances in multiple games yesterday. And on top of that, as we mentioned, he's getting really fit, Big Swips. If you have him on Snapchat, he's at the gym almost every day, picking up the heavy weights, putting them back down again.
Yeah, likes the cardio at the moment as well. Was doing double sessions for a bit, running in the morning, gym at night. Lost on your screen right now. Hasn't had the best series so far.
No, Lost in Cupcake. Last split, I would say, when they had the Lucian Braum pick that was up their sleeve all the time, and they looked like a
Trundle
great...
when they first brought it out.
They look like a great synergistic lane. Now that it kind of feels like they've been exposed almost. Yes, they're still decent. They're just not the star carries Legacy need. Tally's really fitting into that role, though. But when you're up against someone like Swiper, who, you'll go even against, you're not going to get far ahead, it's difficult to shine.
Yeah, it certainly is. This must be nerve-wracking. We haven't even heard what's happening.
No. Carbon's having not a great series so far, though. Game 1, got caught out a few times. Game 2, I believe he's died 8 times in this match so far, which, understandable, being the owning tank, he's normally the priority target when the rest of the carries back off.
But if the game keeps going, he will get to 6 items. And 6-item Maokai has none of the weaknesses that we talk about in Maokai. Right now, it's slow clear, the ability to be invaded upon. You have to use flash a lot for your ganks. All of that goes away as soon as you are late game. As soon as you're late game, you're just a 6-item beefy tank that can engage with the ultimate and peel incredibly well. Problem is he's against a lot of damage from the Cassiopeia, so much so that Raze has been able to build around Yuan's Omen, which has probably been instrumental in the Chiefs clawing their way back in the game. The courage to build a 3rd item Randuin's, when you have, 2 attack speed items, Merc Treads, Randuin Omen isn't the first item that would come to my mind, Fish.
He's the Time Lord. I mean, it makes sense, right? You're not...
It makes great sense.
If you're...
Dead, you do nothing. Best CC in the game, death.
Not always the case. I'm looking at you, Carthus.
Or Syndra. Remember that mid lane play where Syndra died but ulted and then the player was like, I couldn't exhaust her. She was dead. What do you want me to do? You die too.
My goodness. Unfortunately, guys, we still don't know what is going on. From what we saw earlier, it seemed like a Maokai bug. Carbon was definitely talking to the refs there. As soon as we get word,
we'll tell you.
We'll let you guys know. Have you experienced any quirky bugs before spawn?
I was on the MSI desk. I don't know if you remember when Sejuani dashed into the Baron Pit and ended up outside of the Baron Pit again.
Jat didn't like that.
Yeah. So, from what we saw, she tried to dash through the fattest part of the Baron wall. Should have made it through and didn't.
Yeah.
Now, even the players in the end ruled that it wasn't game impactful. So I think that we just continued on. I was also there very famously for when Gragas was disabled.
Ooh.
On the desk for that one as well.
That was not fun.
Probably cost EDG a chance. Not going to say they would have won it, but they would have been much better if Clear Love had that pick. Obviously didn't have the pick, and in the end, EDG ended up sucking. So, whatever. But yeah, so I've been probably the 2 most impactful bugs ever. I was there for them.
I haven't really seen too many while casting, but the one I played against was more of an exploit, and I didn't like it. It was a really famous one as well. It's back when Gangplank used to be able to...
Queue his own minions?
Yeah. No, not queue his own minions. He used to be able to eat oranges out of teleport, so it would cancel the cooldown.
Oh, really?
So you'd instantly teleport. It was a big bug and people were abusing it, and people then found out as well if you ran teleport as well as cleanse and you cleansed halfway through teleport, it would cancel the animation and you'd just instantly appear. So he would recall in front of me, have a ward behind me in the lane, and I thought, all right, he's back to base, I've got time now, and suddenly he's right behind me with a new item just killing me.
That's pretty cool.
Was not fun. He got disabled, and I believe Cleanse got disabled for a long time as well.
The old spaghetti days of League of Legends.
When Anivia's wall was coded as a minion. Goodness.
Yep.
But getting back into this game, there's a lot on the line for these two teams. Winner of this Best of 5 series goes into the grand finals against Direwolves. But there's always a big rivalry between Chiefs and Legacy. We know they're good friends. We know it's no longer a grudgeful relationship anymore. But still, this is the match that everyone in Oceania looks out for, no matter what.
Yeah, the El Clasico PL, very good match. You can see the players are actually just trying to take their mind off the game right now. Don't want to be thinking about all that much. I do, however, want to talk about the mentality if they win this game. So if Legacy win this game, they get it back on even footy and they will feel like this is a big momentum swing. They're the kings of reverse sweeping. At the same time, if Chiefs win this game, Legacy have had to sit through a 10, 15-minute pause on stage. They've had to lose back-to-back games, one in fashion where, you know, it looked like Cloud was going to hard carry the game. He got raised, I think, 3 team fights in a row. I think that this is one of those games that if you lose as Legacy, the mental is boom nearly.
Yeah, it's not great. And we've seen players talk about it before. I think the most famous one to me is in the NALCS when Miss Fortune was still being played as support and FlyQuest picked it up. Hai was talking about how, you know, that 30-minute pause when Chrono Break was first used really took its toll, despite them picking up the game eventually, I believe.
Yep.
They might have even lost that match. It was quite some time back in Split 1. But it does affect the players. It affects your mentality. Some players have spoken up to the fact that, you know, when they play a really good game like Claire's having now, 16 kills, they go into the next match thinking they're a god, try and do something crazy at level 2 and realize, oh yeah, this is not last game, I can't do that anymore.
Yep.
Kind of the same thing when you go into a pause. You forget
where
what it's
the
like.
game's at.
Because a lot of sport and games like League of Legends, it's feel. You can't calculate it off the top of your head, but you kind of understand how much damage you can deal, how much you can take, when you have to flash.
But not even that. It's like, what did they use in that team fight? I'm trying to remember. I think they used Maokai ulti, they used Tahm Kench ulti, they used Zed ulti, but did the Zed use his QSS? I don't know. Like, what actually was, like, what are the intricate things that in the moment when you see it, you're like, okay, I can flash on this guy, or all of a sudden, you know, I can play up because he just used his W. All those little details start disappearing. So that would be going through their head, checklisting, like, this is being used, this is being used, this is what I'm going to do when I come out. You can't obviously verbalize that, but every single player would be thinking that. Taron Owens just tweeted at me, Spawn LOL seems salty about Cho. Hashtag IMOPL. Taron Owens, I can't bring your tweet up myself, but I am so salty about Cho.
Yeah.
I'm a big Invictus Gaming fan, but I feel like they are nearly abusing a top laner. He is incredibly strong at the
I
moment.
remember playing against you in the jungle as Cho'Gath Swan.
Yeah.
That was fun.
3v3 does not count, my friend. I don't even know why. You know, I might get in trouble for this. And tweet at me if you disagree, because I love to hear all opinions. But Twisted Tree Lines is not League of Legends.
Really?
That's all I'm saying.
I used to love the old Twisted Tree line where you had Dragon on the top side of the map.
Nah, don't want to hear it, mate.
That was fun. I don't like the new one as
Not
much.
League of Legends. 5v5 only. And if you invite me to Earth, I will unfriend you.
Dominion died for this.
Dominion did die for this. I actually, out of all the game modes we ever released, I thought Dominion was the most enjoyable because it didn't feel like League of Legends. It felt like a completely different game. It wasn't about destroying bases. It was about capturing points, you know, a little bit more strategic element. I enjoyed the Heimerdinger versus Lux bottom lane in Dominion. The most out of everything. Just continual wave clear.
It just didn't have staying power, I
Nah.
believe. Like, I played it for 3 weeks, and that's all I played with my team, and then went back to 5-on-5.
5-on-5 is always going to be core.
It's not in the rotating game mode, is it, Dominion? It's never come
Nah,
back since
never
we shut
coming
it
back.
down.
It's gone.
That makes me sad. I thought when rotating game mode came out that we might see it once in a while. I was like, yes, we can play
it's
it
too
again.
hard to maintain.
Poor Dominion.
Yeah.
It even got very early on into its release, you know, patches around Dominion only. League of Legends, been around for so many years now. I mean, Mike Young in the NALCS had his AMA the other day, mentioned how he's been playing this game since he was 11 years old, and I can't even fathom it.
That is very scary. Okay, cool. So, What we've been told by League Ops is there was a twisted advance bug. After leaving the Tahm Kench ulti, the skill did not finish. We are going to chrono break the game back to 43 minutes 39. So that's 7 seconds before the bug.
Ooh.
Both teams have been notified. So I believe that will be before the ultimate goes off.
How far back is that? Is that going to be before the Tahm Kench ult?
Yes.
Yes. Ooh, that's... Legacy get another shot here. If Chrono Break goes through.
Yep.
Bear in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that there is a chance Chrono Break would not work. It's happened recently in the LPO, I believe, for the first time ever.
However, with that in mind, it's going to take another 10 minutes. So you can see the players are just chilling out. Once again, it's a really interesting one for me. So it has been deemed game impacting, is what that says. So very good job from our League Ops team. Unfortunately, sorry guys, it is a frustrating thing, but they would have had to go back. They would have had to watch it. They would have had to check the game as well to make sure they know exactly what was going on. So you can see the players might actually be allowed to use bathroom. Yep. That's why they're leaving the stage. Once one player has to leave the bathroom, this is extenuating circumstances, so the players can leave the stage. Once one player leaves, all the players can leave. So it's up to the players, of course, but if they want to go to the bathroom, they want to shake it off, they will be accompanied by refs. So it's not like he can go to the bathroom and strategize. There's nothing illegal about this. Referees will go to the bathroom with them. And, as soon as the chrono break is back, then we'll get back into game. Yeah,
going back 7 seconds. You'd have to think Deathmark was already used by this time, so Cho'Gath should be okay.
Potentially.
Maybe even not, because it was very close to the Tahm Kench ultimate.
Yeah, I think that we're back before all the business. Obviously, can't speculate on it. You
have to remember it's 7 seconds before the bug. So he did Twisted Advance slightly after. We can't speculate.
Yeah,
too
can't
much.
speculate. Let's just wait.
And we also have to figure out if Chrono Break's going to go through. As we mentioned, sometimes it does not. And that's a whole new disaster spawn. Hopefully we don't have to go down that rabbit hole. But for now, both these teams, they have to stay composed. It's such a difficult task. We see it in sport all the time, especially in sports like basketball, where you have multiple instances of overtime where both teams have to stay composed and, ready to fight tooth and nail for the last few minutes. Similar here, one team fight could finish the game. That could be game over for either team. And the Chiefs were so close to picking it up. Imagine how they feel now. That was a winning team fight then. They could taste it. It wasn't confirmed. No one died, but they knew they had the upper hand. Now resetting 7 seconds back. Where did they stand? How did they try and pull it back in their favor?
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, this is going to be hard because Legacy are looking for picks. You can see that that's what their mentality has changed to. Like, let's get Zed in a side lane. Let's isolate the target with the Tahm Kench ulti. Get some lockdown CC there. He should have enough damage to kill anyone. Obviously, it didn't work this time around, but I think that if they throw that play enough times, it does come through at some point. Also, you have to point out that the Chiefs were very close to be able to follow up and be able to turn that around. So if they're half a step further back, maybe the ultimate doesn't fly out straight away. Maybe Cho'Gath does fall down and it's a 4v5. At the same time, Baron secure from both teams is very good. Cho'Gath versus Kalista. Cho'Gath is instant, 1,000 damage, just bam, lay it down. Cassiopeia will do it very quickly. Kalista, obviously, the best secure in the game. You get about a 1,700 smite late game if you get spears in from the start, depending on how quick it falls down. So we'll see exactly how it works out. Must be close to getting back in the game. As you can see, the players now warming up their hands again.
They're talking as well, so it seems like the pause has been deemed long enough for them to be able to communicate once again.
Yep.
And that's where your shot callers have to step up. That's where people like Swiffer, like Ejim need to start talking. Yep. Guys, this is what happened. This is what we're going to do. Remember this. They can see the game screen. We are not showing the pause screen at the moment. Taking a look at the players. But they can see exactly what's going to happen as soon as they come out of Chrono Break. And they can start preparing for what's going to happen as soon as that pause comes undone. Because they know Swiper was being collapsed upon by Claire.
Yeah, exactly right. So Swiper maybe doesn't even challenge for the wave, right?
Yep.
Maybe he deems the fact that he doesn't want to take half his health to
hard
one
reset.
round. Yeah, he just goes back to the turret and says, all right, cool, Claire, you can come to me here. There are so many things that could happen right now. Maybe Legacy say, if that bug doesn't go through, we actually get the kill. So let's play it again. Let's do the exact same thing. Let's throw the gauntlet. I mean, that would be incredibly interesting as well. So much at stake right now. We're only into game 2.
Yep.
Chiefs obviously picked up game 1 if you're just joining us. We're here because of a Maokai Twisted Advance bug.
Today's been a great day, Spawn. You know, 10 rounds of Conor McGregor against Floyd Mayweather. Now Chiefs versus Legacy. Game 2 is so close, all the way in 50 minutes in.
I
barely even
walked your
started
ass
this
to the gym
series.
this morning. That was good
Yeah.
as well. Fish has a sore back at the moment, so I won't claim full victory. Just partial victory.
Disappointed in myself. Bicep curls, though. Ugh.
Yeah, you really don't like the old bicep curls, do you?
No, not a fan.
I'm a big fan of bicep curls.
I know.
Big fan.
I think in the big and strong like Rusty challenge, I did 1.
Yeah. That was funny, actually. I thought I didn't even load up the thing either. I just
You
thought
could do another 10 kilos
I
or
could do another 10
something.
kilos after that. Oh, I'm sorry, Fish. I didn't mean it to be that way.
Oh,
I was trying to be a gentleman.
I know, today's been a good day. It's only going to get better as this series continues. Hopefully, we're going to get out of Conor break shortly, and we'll know if it was successful or not. And even if it's not, I'm still excited. Because then we get another game of Chiefs versus Legacy.
I mean, potentially.
Oh, it'd be fun. Wouldn't it be great for the players, you know, that always sucks when a game has to be remade.
Yeah,
from
when you get to this
scratch.
stage, when, you know, Chiefs had first blood, they would have been feeling it. Then Legacy get that double kill coming out of the jungle onto Claire. All of a sudden, he's fired up. He's continued that form, 16 kills. Raze is finally like, I can live through the death mark. What a beautiful day. Lost is like, give me a team fight. I'll take them all down. And then you just have to sit here for 20 minutes, I think it's been now.
Especially if you're Soul Strikes, you know, you've shown the Z. Everyone knows Claire can play it, of course. But you never want to show a new pick, so to speak, that's been rarely played by your player and then have a game remade.
Especially not into a pick like Cassio, right? Because I thought that in an equal matchup, Zed would struggle into Cassiopeia, just because Cassiopeia's level 2 is very strong. However, it looks like Claire is able to play around that. Obviously, the 2 kills and the double buff helps Fish. But can't forget the fact that Swiffer also had 2 kills, not the double buff. So we'll see exactly what happens if they do go back towards a matchup.
But game is on a knife's edge. Yes, Legacy have a slight gold lead, but gold's irrelevant. Everyone's at 6 items. We're even theorizing what is Raze going to sell because he does not have a Last Whisper. But
Maybe he sells boots.
Yeah,
Just stand and deliver.
he's got Hurricane and Phantom Dancer, right?
Does.
So he's very fast. 80% crit, I believe it is.
Yeah, he's got IE as well.
Get an Essence Reaver, 100% rounded out.
Is very good on Varus. Gives you that cooldown reduction. Means you can-
I would agree with selling the boots if it was a Janna support, because you'd have 16% extra move speed moving towards her, since the coin would be, you know, the quest be complete.
I mean, but is he really moving in the fights? That's the question you got to ask
He's more of a
yourself,
turret at the moment.
Because at the like when I play things like Jinx, I'm like, I will never sell my boots. Even though people are like, you can get excited and stuff like that. No, like so much of Jinx's kit is the initial chase down with the long range rockets. Like boots to me are just invaluable. When I play things like Ashe, I'm like, why the heck do I even have boots? I'm hardly orb walking. I'm just sitting here. Everyone's diving at me. I'm taking half a step backwards and just trying to kite the living heck out of them. And I look like Legolas while I'm doing it.
My favorite was back when Kog'Maw could double his attack speed, and the LPL carries would just sell their boots, flash into a single spot and be, yep, I'm here now. This is where I stand.
'Cause you
Everyone
can't
protects
even,
me.
You could not even orb walk on that champion. It was actually, humans cannot click behind an A click fast enough to utilize like 5 attacks a second.
There was a really cool macro you could do for it, where you change your
Yeah, we
shift
disabled
attack.
that. Yes. To your left click, and then you just left click, right click, left click, right. Yeah, we changed that.
That was fun. I saw that video on Reddit, and I tried. I was like, whoa, I'm probably never going to be able to do this because I'm not good enough to click that fast, but it looks so cool.
Yeah, you just click behind yourself with left click, then right click, and you start taking half a steps.
But you still see players like King, like
Yeah.
Uzi in the LPL. You could do it like, damn, how are they so good at this game?
They are very good.
Unfortunately, guys, we're still waiting to get out of this bug. Chrono Break is currently in process. It takes about 10 minutes, and once it is resolved, we'll let you know what the outcome is. We're going 7 seconds back before the Twisted Advance came out from Maokai. So Tahm Kench would not have used his ultimate. We're not quite sure if Claire would have used Deathmark onto Cho'Gath. But Chiefs were able to collapse successfully after that. Cho'Gath lived with about half health. And half health is still a lot of health. It's still 3,000 for this Cho'Gath.
So once our Chrono Break is done, guys, the way it works is players get a couple of minutes to start talking to each other, make sure that the correct spells are on cooldown, make sure everything's looking okay, and then we'll go back into the game. So we'll see what happens then. As you can see, everyone looks kind of chilled out now. When we first came into the pause, everyone looked very stressed. Now there's a resolution on hand. got to play their way through a little bit more League of Legends.
I wonder if Legacy tried the same thing.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if they do as well.
Because we know Swipe was slightly out of position. He got a really good rupture out of that time control. I'll give him that. That saved him for an extra couple of seconds. Rupture into silence denied Maokai for quite some time.
Certainly did. We also have a couple of theories flying around on Twitter and such about why the bug occurred. However, not going to speculate on that. Apparently it's to do with how big Cho'Gath is.
Really?
Yeah. So we'll see exactly what happens. Can see Swiffer now talking to his team. He is not necessarily their main shot caller. Chiefs equally share that burden at the moment, as I'm sure Legacy do between Carbon and Cupcake. We've heard that Cupcake's pretty vocal. However, is kind of the old wise hat on the team. He's been kind of everywhere, done a lot of things, and does bring the team back down, as does those two men on your screen, Tally and Carbon, the two long-standing veterans of this Legacy lineup.
Just waiting and waiting before they get back into this game. A lot's on the line here, as we mentioned. A win here for Legacy puts them back 1-1. They've been trying to
That'll be
snowball ahead.
huge. I don't, like, obviously equal score, anything can happen.
It's never good to be a match point.
That is really scary for Chiefs. You've fought your way back into it. You thought you had a winning team fight. And then chrono break, obviously due to a bug. Legacy can't plan that. They can't be like, oh, let me just activate my bug card. That's not how League of Legends work.
Bug catcher Legacy.
Yeah, but at the same time, see what happens when we get back into game. This is still on a knife's edge. Both teams dead even. Everyone approaching 6 items fish. Really want to get back into this one.
What are your thoughts on Zed this late in the game? Does he fall off? Is
Yes.
he still useful?
So he does fall off. He doesn't fall off as much as he used to when he had, when you could just QSS the ultimate, right? Fish has just stuck his whole hand in soy sauce for random reasons and now shaking it all over the room. If I'm wearing soy sauce when we come back, buddy, I'm going to take you out onto the lights.
I don't know what I've done.
But yeah, back in
Why?
the old school Z days when you could QSS the ult, he was real bad. But the reason I think he's bad in this scenario is Miasma, the Scream, as well as Feral Scream, as well as Cassiopeia's Scream, they're going to start ruining his day. And the fact that Randuin's Omen was completed means that it's going to be very hard to assassinate Raze in this game. So I just don't know what his targets are. Maybe he can all in Ejim, and I think that's actually a good move, because Ejim's getting a couple of bindings and a couple of black shields out in these team fights. So if it comes down to a 5v5 team fight, and you can eliminate Ejim straight away, I think that's the play that you look towards.
Ejim's so good on this Morgana. He's nailed, lost a couple of times with the Dark Bindings, and he's on Kalista. That's one of the hardest AD carries to hit.
Certainly is. Also, Michael Hingersing has turned down the aircon so much in this room that I'm starting to shiver. So for those out there, if my voice starts quavering, I am very cold at the moment.
Damn it, Michael.
He came out, he was like, the room's really hot, isn't it? I was like, yeah, it is. He's like, it's on 23. All right, cool. Turn it down a little bit. Turns it down to 21. I'm now freezing. Industrial air conditioning, ladies and gentlemen. I live in an igloo. This is so bad.
Oh, boy. My house is freezing at the moment. It's on top of a hill. We've had the windiest days the past week. Not enjoying it. Used to be a big fan of the cold, then I moved here. No longer. Still waiting, guys. As soon as we get updates, we'll give them to you. As we've mentioned it quite a few times now, there was an in-game bug for Carbon when he twisted advanced. The skill did not go through after he left the... So I'm going to read through the piece of paper being given here. There was a twisted advanced bug, and after Carbon left the Time Kench ultimate, his twisted advance did not finish.
So we're going back to 43-39. You guys probably know where that is before I am.
Someone tweeted Spawnlaw with a picture of 43-39 in this match.
So the reason we're going back to this point is because this is a point in the game where it's been deemed that no action was occurring. So both teams get to completely reset. They can go for a different play, they can go for the same play, but it is deemed a stage in the game where no impactful action was happening. Obviously, an action is happening. They're probably moving around somewhere in the jungle.
So I've just got word that 2 minutes from now, we should be able to get back in the game, or at least let you guys know what the next step's going to be, if that's not the case. But 2 minutes, guys, not too long. I apologize for
Jish
the long
has
delay.
tweeted out. Let's just go through some more tweets.
Ah.
After IWCQ 2015, our pause game is indefinitely better than the rest of the hashtag IMOPL. That, of course, is a very famous pause between the Chiefs and Bangkok Titans. I think the Chiefs had to beat Bangkok Titans 3 times before we actually officially gave them a win, Fish.
I remember that. That was fun to watch. Was very excited.
Search the hashtag. Let's go.
There used to be a lot of pauses in the GPL, thanks to the internet cable that went underneath the ocean from Vietnam to the rest of the world. It got bitten by a shark, and halfway through the game, everyone disconnected. For the rest of the season, we had a pause almost every single match.
We also had a tweet in from 5 to 8. Oh no, we went back too far with Chrono Break, and now XL5 are back in the lead. Hashtag IMOPL. We didn't go back that far, 5 to 8.
His recent video was great. I love the animation of Juves punching Baron.
Ooh,
With a
Vendra has
superhuman.
tweeted in, and I agree with this one. So let's read it out. I love the fact that the Legacy jerseys for Lost and Cupcake have the New Zealand flag on the sleeve.
Ah!
If we can get a look at that,
That's
that would be
amazing.
fantastic. But yeah, NZ, both of the duo lane for Legacy, and Raze, that man on your screen, are both New Zealanders, so representing their country in the OPL.
I really liked it on the old TM jerseys, the old Tainted Mind jerseys, but it was just Australia, because that's where the team was from, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's really cool from Legacy. I respect that.
Rusty's tweeted a picture at me.
Look, Spawn!
There we are.
We're in the game! We're back!
And everyone just peels away. So the teams are going to have a hard reset.
Legacy realize, initiating on Swiper wasn't the best of ideas. He's 8-1-5 on Cho'Gath, close to his 6th and final item. One thing that we forgot
It's
about.
going to be a Warmogs as well.
One thing we did forget about Spawn is the Swiffer 6 item. He's looking towards that Rabadon's death cap, and that would be massive for Cassiopeia.
Certainly would be. You can see right now that most of the Legacy are in vision. So you can see Tally top side of the map. And Claire has been showing himself on a ward bottom side. Everyone else is kind of in the mid lane. So they're just going to jockey for position. It's cold, guys. It's real cold. Ejim, 5 items. I think he has to be close to 6. If I could get a look at Ejim's gold quickly, I want to know if he's keeping his slot open just so he has pink wards. He's a big vocal member of the Chiefs about how important pink wards are. And I would not be very surprised if he had, 3,000 gold in his back pocket, but he was like, pink wards are what will win us this game.
Do you sell your boots as a support to get pink wards?
To get more pink wards? I don't think so.
He's going to be able to control this Baron pit here. Remember, Spook sold his jungle item. God knows why he's done that, but he did it very early into this match. It synergizes so well with Warmogs. So I was very curious as to why he sold that Sinhog. It's very efficient.
But at this stage of the game, I mean, it's not the worst thing because otherwise he would have a component. And I think that it would be better to have Stoneplate Warmogs than jungle item Warmogs.
But you also lose the ability to ward.
Yeah, 2 wards. But pink wards are better than green wards, so...
Unfortunately, you can only have 1. So 3 wards taken off the map for the Chiefs. Unfortunate. That doesn't take much damage there.
Yeah, that wasn't the full Swiffer combo. And they actually hit Carbon, so they're going to go in.
They initiate. Claire is stuck bottom lane, dealing with Swiper. No teleport available here.
Ooh.
Ultimate whiffs from Raze, but the follow-up from Spooks is good. Legacy simply disengaged. Carbon at half health.
Huge ultimate use from Tally there. Got very good damage down on the Chiefs members. Now see whether they go towards a team fight.
Ouch. Ejim's got to be careful.
He's a very squishy man, Ejim.
Claire's actually collapsing.
Yeah, so here we go. Swiffer turns around, puts the damage down, but Claire on his way up, Fish.
They've got to be very careful. Here comes the collapse. Zed's coming in. Redemption, nice and early. Petrifying Gaze as well as the exhaust. They shot him down. Dark biting on the tree himself. Loss is being collapsed by this big void monster. And Karma's the target of choice. He will get locked out. The Chiefs have done it. They've won a team fight, but what's next?
Yeah, exactly right. They're going to turn towards Cupcake. He too will fall, Fish, and this should mean Baron for the Chiefs Esports Club.
Even exhaust being used there just to delay a little bit longer. 1 minute until Legacy's members are back up. What do Lost and Tally do now?
Exactly right. It looks like they wanted to go towards the mid lane inhibitor. They decide that is a risky play. Instead, they just take away the mid lane. So So that means Chiefs can go towards top side. Spooks actually recalls with Swiper, and this is all about petrifying gaze into Miasma. He couldn't get ultimate off, even though he was exhausted, fell so quickly. And then Raze turns around and he's just delivering damage at this point. They split focus. Swiffer has so much DPS, he's able to take down Carbon. Raze continues the chase onto Cupcake with with Ejim. And the Chiefs are able to pick up what is a 47-minute team fight.
So Spooks did go back to base, completed. No, not a Warmog, still just holding on to that pink ward there. Final item from Swiper is that Random Omen. He is very tanky now.
So doesn't get himself the Warmog's armor.
These turrets are taking a beating. Chiefs will break the base of Legacy.
They've already got a creep wave coming in the mid lane. Bottom wave is huge fishery. Look how big that is. Eventually, they're going to be able to ride that one in as well. Potentially, they just back away now. Swiffer might have his 6th item. That would be huge. Death cap at this stage of the game. Oh, he must have 1,000 AP.
Goodness sake. Tally has teleport though, so he can continue split pushing. 1,065 ability power
without
on
a blue buff.
Cassiopeia.
So he's going to get more, because remember, blue buff gives you a percentage of AP now.
Guardian Angel picked up by Claire. He traded Dustblade for it.
Interesting. So not valuing the proc anymore. You would only get 1 in the team fight, Fish. So he has 500 AD. Of course, he has a percentage multiplier, and Swiper's been caught.
Let's see if there's enough damage. Good rupture. Ignite is ticking, and everyone else collapses. He can't stay alive for this long. Redemption's going to come out. Somehow Swiper's still in this one. Gets a big black shield. Good equalizer coming out for Tally. He flushes into the backlines, pops the flame spitter. The Chiefs have to retreat. Everyone is so low. Swiffer's in trouble. He gets taken down. What a massive play from Tally.
Tally's equalizer, I want to see the damage of it, has just roasted the Chiefs alive. And that will mean another Elder Drake goes over to this Legacy squad. They are so damn resilient, Fish. Backs against the wall, come up with a huge team fight.
They certainly do. My goodness, what a big play. Can Legacy do it again, though? They have Elder Dragon. It's going to be able to buff up that one Infernal. Here's that team fight again.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, Swiper didn't flash on lost. So he didn't have the Stone Plate when he ate him. That would have been about 40% more damage out of that. You can see Lost still burning on that Miasma, but the damage was done. The equalizer took everyone from full health to so far down. And the Chiefs, unfortunately, 20 seconds without their mid laner, now have to look to stall out some of this game. He did sell his boots, Fish. He picked himself up, the mortal reminder.
Ninja Tabby's going to be picked up by Regim, and he gets a frozen heart. So no more pink wards for the Chiefs at all. None.
None. You see Swiper has gone back to yellow trinket. That's probably due to the fact that you need some wards on the map.
Both top laners still holding on to their yellow trinkets at the moment. Junglers, the last members of their teams to complete items. Still sitting on a Chain Vest and a Negatron Cloak for both Maokai and Sejuani.
Lost still has half an item to go. He's going to go towards Thornmail. Has the Bramble Vest right now.
Cupcake?
Ah, yeah, Cupcake, sorry, not Lost.
Lost still sitting on his boots, but for Callista, kind of want those. Hop around a bit better. Look at how slow he is. Poor Raze.
I mean, as I said, he's not really moving all that much, Fish. Although he will be collapsed on here, maybe. Ulti is available for Cupcake.
So I like this from 80 carries. Oh, they jump on the Tally. That misses.
If it had been a clean hit, could have been a pick. Wasn't Fishery.
They do have to be careful because Elder Dragon is still live on Legacy.
Yep. Baron has gone for the Chiefs. Elder Drake maybe about to go down.
Oh, Cupcake taking so much damage, but they turn back. Maokai ultimate coming through.
From Maokai is huge, and look at Claire flying to the base.
Ooh, they tag him with the Dark Binding. He throws out a Shadow, gets good damage on Spooks. Raze, more happy to step up. This inhibitor might fall here. Ultimate came out from Raze, trying to nail Cupcake. Sorry, lost, but he just jumps away. Dark Binding from Egypt on point again, but it's not enough. Legacy take mid lane inhibitor.
Yeah, really nicely done. This Elder Drake is really doing wonders for the Legacy squad. As you can see, able to successfully disengage now as well.
This is just game 2. We still have an entire best of 5 to go through, and it's this close between Legacy and Chiefs, fighting for the right to take on the Direwolves next weekend.
Yeah, I mean, and the Direwolves will be sitting there smiling, wouldn't they, Fish? I mean, they're absolutely beating the living heck out of each other at the moment. And Direwolves, who's just got 2 very good games so far, to sit back, study. Got 2 of them on the desk. I'm sure they're licking their chops.
And you have to remember, since the changes to how the previous international wildcard tournaments work, the winner of next weekend's match would be the first representative from Oceania to go to Worlds directly.
Go directly to the play-ins. Now the Chiefs on the offensive. Ray's taking the turret. Don't think they want that. Couple of cheeky shots.
Starfinder comes out.
Misses.
They're still pushing through against Super Minions here. More than happy to.
Yeah, take it down.
Elder Dragon is down. Swiffer half health. Has to be careful.
Exactly right. And you can see that Claire, even though he sold that Dustblade, still does so much damage. See whether they give some Spell Vamp over to Swiffer. They do. Raze grabs himself a cheeky red buff on the way out, but the disengage needs to be good here. Super Creeps are keeping Tally busy, but the inhibitor has respawned now.
And Chiefs are attacking their weak lane, which is mid lane at the moment. Look at Claire, just sitting in the shadows.
He's hunting Swiffer. That's who he wants. Swiffer is the man that Claire has got his eyes set upon. And we keep saying it, but the fact that the Chiefs don't have any wards to be able to spot out the flanks from this Zed could be disastrous. They've also split their recall. Swiffer wants this buff, but the rest of the members go back. If they see him by himself, he could get collapsed on by a Tahm Kenshulti and Direfish.
But no wards spot him out. Legacies are all pushed throughout the river, not inside their own jungle. So red buff and blue buff taken away by the Chiefs. Their blue buff is back up. Swiper is split pushing with teleport available.
Baron, 20 seconds away. Swiffer in base.
Ooh.
Quickest champion without boots in the game, so losing boots doesn't affect him because he can't even have them in the first place here.
Still want to see how fast Varus is, because you look at Lost, he's got close to 400 movement speed. Actually moves pretty quick. I believe something was buffing about when he has nothing, he's got 290 movement speed. That's nothing.
Yeah, Ejim actually took so much of his health there.
Raze has to move towards Ejim in order to walk at a normal pace. If not, he's so far behind. Ejim has to be very careful
Chiefs
here.
are just going to challenge for creep waves. Take him back towards mid. Legacy start up the Baron because of that.
Good binding, lands onto Tally. Spooks wants to jump in, can't find the fight. Miasma comes out from Swiffer, wants to take this one. Here we go! Throws out the ultimate, locks down Lost. Carbon's dead! It's the pick up going for Legacy. He jumps up by Claire, but gets knocked into Guardian Angel. Angel will live through the pop. Grounded comes out. One by one, Legacy are gonna fall. Lost and Cupcake are the last 2 members remaining, but Raze and Spooks hunt them down. The Kalista will fall. Spooks gets that kill, and Cupcake's the last man standing. He will fall as well. They've done it. The Chiefs will march towards the base.
Exactly right, Fish. And what was a 55-minute game with a 20-minute pause, the Chiefs still proved too good. They're going to take us to game number 3, and the Chiefs will have a 2-0 lead.
Legacy had the second chance after the chrono bake. That was not enough. They had a big team fight from Tally. That was not enough. The resilience from the Chiefs is, though, and they are now at match point.
And a 16-2 Z at one point, Fish. I think he was 9-2 as well earlier in the game. Is not enough to be able to snowball this Legacy squad. And they had the Chiefs exactly where they wanted them. Late game team fighting is Legacy's MO. However, because they had flexed so much around, they didn't have a control mage, they didn't have a tank top lane, their composition just couldn't go with what was a beefy, beefy front line out of the Chiefs.
So much crowd control as well. It was so hard to take down anyone from the Chiefs, and they were very close. Legacy, that big choke point where Tally made the hero play.
Oh, that was huge. That equalizer, probably the highest damage equalizer you will ever see. 6 items, burnt everyone. Maximum duration, all 5 members flashed over the wall, overheating with his flame spitter on, and they could still only grab Swiffer off the back end of that fight. That game was intense. One of the best games of League of Legends I've ever seen. Back and forth, it had absolutely everything. And somehow the Chiefs, from a deficit at one point, which was like 5,000 gold, Baron and Elder Drake still come out ahead. I mean, what the heck do Legacy have to do to win this game?
My goodness, and now you have to think of your Legacy going into this next game. You have to reset, and you're up against match point. That must be a difficult
But they've done
task.
it before. I mean, everyone will go back to Winter. Immunity versus Avant-Garde Ascension. Legacy versus Chiefs with different names. Legacy down 2 games, reverse swept the Chiefs, and absolutely destroyed them in those 3 games. If any team can do it, it will be Legacy.
Well, we'll have to find out if Legacy can do the impossible and reverse sweep the Chiefs. For now, to break down that long and gruesome game, let's send it back to the analyst desk.
Thank you, Fish. Thank you, Spawn. And Spawn was saying it, one of the best games of League of Legends he's ever seen in the OPL. And just so back and forth, so long, and such a grueling match for both these teams. But for Legacy, heartbreaking loss. Chiefs now up 2-0 in this. So where do we want to start? I mean, so much to talk about.
Yeah. It's hard to even pick a point to start. But, for me, I would say that, Cupcake making a few of those plays in the early to mid game with the Tom Ken shot was probably one of the biggest things for Legacy to get their early advantage. So here, Tom Kench ulting behind them in the 2v2. Cupcake wasn't sure if they were going to fully commit, and then Lost fully commits, brings in Cupcake with the ultimate. Now, see, Claire obviously communicate here to come down, follow up. And this was probably the play that got Claire fully snowballed into this game, picking up a double kill here. Misses the shurikens, but yeah,
But
ends
still
up,
gets the
yeah,
two
still gets
kills.
the double kill. But what this means is that Claire now is extremely fed, and then manages to carry them through the early to mid game.
Yeah, this game was all over the place, from the pause to Spook selling his jungle item to
So Ray's buying a Giants belt.
yeah, from a Brandywin's Omen to an
Yeah.
18-2 Z. This was
Yeah.
probably one of the most entertaining games of the OPL in history. But yeah, there was so much to talk about, especially like in the mid game when they were going for the siege. They had Baron. I feel like this was one of the main turning points for Chiefs to get back into this game. And as you see on your screen, they're going for the tier 2 bot. They've seen Cassio move to the bottom side, but this is just an overreach. Like, you can't siege versus a team that has so much engage, and Spooks just runs at them. And because that Claire's sitting at bot lane, they just go for this 5v4, and there's nothing they can do. Claire is just... Legacy just needed to be more patient. Ejim hits a beautiful bind, and then Chiefs just clean them up. This is really what turned the game. And from here on out, it turned to a 50-minute slugfest.
Because at this point, Legacy are ahead, but they're not playing like they're ahead. Like they're not waiting for these team fights. They're trying to force things. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Legacy just need to be a little bit more patient. It was pretty much an overreach by them. And this is what we don't normally see coming out of Legacy. So maybe it's the nerves, or like after the first game, they could have just been like, they have to make a play to get back in this series, and that's what made them lose. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would say Legacy's composition is actually really quite difficult to pull off. These compositions with only, like, they have got the front line, but it's more having a Zed and like playing that 4-1 composition. And like Cho'Gath obviously was beating out Rumble in the split push, so Rumble had to group up, and Zed being that split push. But Zed didn't have the pressure that he usually does because Cho'Gath was just that rock in the side lane that wasn't able to get bullied out. And then it didn't allow Zed to push his lead through mid to late game. So for me, I would say Chiefs, the biggest play that got them back into the game, sorry, Destiny, to take that off you, but would be that fight around blue buff.
Yeah.
And yeah, this one here right here. So now, obviously, Chiefs, they tried to engage on Tally. Don't end up bursting him. Tally gets a decent equalizer here, but now Claire. So Claire uses his combo on Spooks, and what happens is he doesn't burst anyone. So now he only has the ultimate on to Raze and isn't able to follow up, misses the Shuriken and the E. So now Raze doesn't get bursted, and now Swiper or Cho'Gath in an extended fight with those silences and knockups is extremely obnoxious, and they're able just to end up this clean team fight.
Yeah, when you look at these two compositions, Chief have historically been very good at team fighting. They've got the Cassiopeia, they've got the Sejuani, Morgana, like they're very good at chokes. And while on the other hand, on Legacy's comp, they want 100-0 someone. They've got the Rumble ult, they've got the Zed ult, the Death Mark. They want to blow someone up. And then that team fight, they were split out. Claire used his combo onto the tanks, didn't kill him, and that's why they lost that team fight. And when the game slowed down, Claire couldn't split against Swiper. Swiper had a very good Cho'Gath performance. He was the rock in the bot lane that couldn't be killed. He was like 7-0, like farming away, and this
6
Cho'Gath
million
pick,
health. Yeah.
yeah, this Cho'Gath pick really paid off.
So in terms of the Zed, we haven't seen a lot of it in the OPL this split. We saw Ryoma play it once, and generally speaking, when we've seen it, it's been used to shut down mid lane. When they picked it today, do you think they were planning on having to play like a 50-minute game. I mean, no one's planning that, but it just seems like late game, the Zed becomes less and less relevant.
With Zed, you generally want to snowball the game as fast as you can because eventually it does fall off. And I think this game showed it. When it's 50 minutes, it's very hard to kill a hyper carry when they can build things like Guardian Angel, Reno and Zoman from Raze here, and they can just peel, build blockets, and he can't kill someone. And yeah, they eventually got outscaled in the team fighting comp 1.
Yeah, I'd have to say that Legacy had quite a good mid-game comp. You know, Rumble and Zed traditionally have been probably the two of the most strongest mid-game champions in the game, along with Kalista as well. Kalista really is straight with the build path of Kalista. Obviously, not building too much crit is something that like really plays to the mid game. And I feel like Chiefs, they managed to get to the late game with their composition. Cassio obviously outscaling, can't really be a target for Zed after you have that Zhonya's. So it was just really well done by Chiefs to end up scaling out this game and deny the siege that Legacy tried to put forth.
Yeah, this game was so crazy in the early game. There was so much action from the level 1, the first blood with the Morgana binding to the invade from Spooks. That was pretty much the same of what Carbon did in the first game. So I really hope these games slow down for Legacy's sake, because if they get faster and faster, it's not looking good right now. They really need to mentally reset, gather the troops, Carbon, Tally, you need to get the boys together because this is it. This is your last shot.
Absolutely. So it's match point now, and what we're talking about is just how exhausted Legacy are going to be right now. I mean, they've lost the first 2 games. Chiefs are at match point, and that pause is a draining moment, right? They're sitting there for 15 minutes or whatever it was, working out if they're going to chrono break, talking about this bug. And so for them to reset, do they come out of this game thinking, all right, that's such a defining moment of the game, we can just like forget about it and move on? Or are they there going like, all right, we need to retool everything because we're down 2-0? Is this where we're going to see the desperation play?
Yeah, it's going to be really hard for Legacy to come back after that. It's such a big slugfest of a game, and you don't really know what to take from it. Honestly, you don't really know if your comp was optimal. You don't really know if your comp, what you need to change up. So it's really difficult, especially from a coach's standpoint. When a game goes that long, it really does come to execution, and it's hard to pinpoint what was the defining factor that wasn't able for you to close out that game. So yeah, it's going to be really hard for Soul Strikes. It's really going to be up to coach. What's his name? Carbon and Tally to round up the guys and say, look, come on, even though we're 2-0 down, let's bring it back.
Bring out the secret strats. Bring out the cheese. Let's do it.
Yep, Blitzcrank.
Yeah,
Blitzcrank.
Blitzcrank. First Blitzcrank. I mean, we've seen them default to Lucian Braum before in the bot lane. We've seen them try the Draven pick. I mean, I don't know if that's going to come out again, but Legacy have these comps that they might be hiding in order to, surprise you guys with them next week, for example. But now that you're down 2-0 in the series, now's when to break them out, right?
Yeah, Cupcake's Bard.
Yeah.
Might see it again.
I mean, we're already seeing Carbon playing Maokai. That Maokai Bard comp they did a couple of weeks ago where you just kind of wombo the ultis and you just get sort of 7 minutes of CC happening, and people can't move out of it. Maybe that's what they're going to go back to. I mean, yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if I see a Lucian, honestly. Legacy need to pull out that Lucian. It's been something that's been a strength for them, a flex in the top, mid, and even AD carry. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it out on Lost as well. So I would really look to see Soul Strikes prioritize that in the next draft.
Yeah, Lucian's been touching on that. Lucian's been played in the LPL. It's a strong laner. Once you get that Bork and Black Cleaver, you're really strong at trading. And yeah, maybe they should just go back to the Lucian Braum, something they were really comfortable in Split 1. And yeah, either that or hopefully not the Draven Janna. Please do not go back.
Even the Elise. Yeah. Carbon's Elise historically has been really good in final games as well. So maybe Carbon getting more of an early game aggressing champion.
The problem with the Lucian is that Jish banned it game 1 and then didn't ban it game 2. Yeah. So presumably he was willing to not... was he only banning it because he thought it was a counter to Nah? Or, I mean, it's hard to get inside his brain, right?
In game 2, they actually Chiefs blind picked Cassio, and Cassio actually does decent into Lucian. Right. So I think that's why Legacy were a little bit hesitant to pick up that Lucian pick.
Yeah, because then they would be forced to put it into the top lane, and then if they don't pick Nah, then what's it doing in the top? Yeah.
If I was Legacy, I would ban Cassiopeia. Swift is having a very good Cassiopeia performance, I've said. I felt like he had hit some really good ultimates, and that Miasma was just stopping the tanks from doing anything, and yeah, I feel like he's been a real threat.
So then for Legacy to get, if they're not going to pull out some cheese here, I mean, aside from the mental reset, is there anything in there? I mean, it's hard to tell because it was such a long slugfest of a game, but is there anything for them in terms of the early game that they should be changing? Because yesterday we saw Chiefs really crumble in that early game to Sin, and then Sin sort of struggled in the mid to late game. Today it seems like both teams are playing quite aggressively early and making mistakes that can be capitalized on.
Yeah, all, you know, out there, Soul Strikes, if you have any level 1 cheese that you're hiding for Direwolves, and now's the time to bring it out. So, yeah, look, you know, maybe Legacy will try and come up with some level cheese, a level 1 invade, possibly with a Thresh or a Blitzcrank pick. I don't know. What do you think, Justin?
Maybe put Cupcake on an unsensor support. We actually haven't seen him do it. He's been on these tanky supports like the Tahm Kench and the Braum. Maybe he should go back to the Janna and the Lulu and maybe play to that hyper carry, which Lost is, and maybe switch up the styles.
Woo. Maybe we see Lost on Tristana or something, or you know, I mean, there are hyper carries being played internationally as well that they can look to as well. But all right, so I've given you guys the predictions early on. You all said Chiefs were going to take this. Does anyone want to venture? Oh, sorry, you did.
I said Legacy,
yeah, you did. But does anyone want to? So, do you still think Legacy can do the reverse swing at this point?
Nah.
It's right to change. Not too late to change.
I think I'm going to chuck a Chiefs spawn here. I'm on the Chiefs. I love the Chiefs.
Well,
yeah. So, do you think Chiefs have got the momentum now? They take this third game, or do you think Legacy are going to take this?
Yeah, I don't think Carbon will be able to do it. I'm sorry, but it's happened before, and I feel like it's going to happen again. And it's sad to see and sad to say it, but I just feel like they'd be crushed after a 50-minute game, a pause where you had a lead. You had an 18-2 Zed. Like, imagine Claire going into this game like,
he's like, what else can I do?
Boom,
What else can I do, you guys?
Yeah.
I think I did the maths on. He had a 95% kill participation at one point in the game. Like, he's just. So
bit rough, yeah.
I mean, you said Legacy were going to take a game. Do you think they'll take this next one, or was the momentum?
Yeah,
against them?
well, I said 3-1.
Yeah.
Look, after that game, it was a big 50-minute game.
Yeah.
It's hard for Legacy to bounce back, to be honest. So maybe I don't want to change my predictions, but I'm going to stick to that 3-1. Hopefully, Legacy can take it out that one game to make my predictions come to fruition. But yeah,
all right,
not looking good.
Well, there we have it. Game 2 went Chiefs' way. Do not go nowhere because we'll be back with Game 3 at Match Point right after these highlights from Game number 2.
Block transfer to Swiffer, but Legacy are collapsing onto the snake. Double kill for Claire. Swiper forced to flush out as well. Locking down Claire, jumps on top of Raze. He says in 11, I will fight you, you dirty, dirty assassin. Get back to your mark. Swiffer chases them down now. Claire is almost dead. Lost almost takes down Swiper. Raze will kill Carmen. Cupcake's the next one to fall, and the Chiefs find a team fight. And big silence comes out, as well as the dark binding from Egypt. The Chiefs are playing team fights to near perfection. The perfect player wants to kill everybody on the side of Legacy. Well, here comes the collapse. Zed's coming in. Redemption, nice and early. Petrifying Gaze, as well as the exhaust. They shut him down. Dark binding on the tree himself. Loss is being collapsed by this big void monster. And Karma's the target of choice. He will get locked down. The Chiefs have done it. Good equalizer coming out for Tally. He flushes into the back lines, pops the flame spitter. The Chiefs have to retreat. Everyone is so low. Swiffer's in trouble. He gets taken down. What a massive play from Tally. Throws out the ultimate, locks down Lost. Carmen's dead. It's a pick up coming for Legacy. He jumps up by Claire, but gets knocked into Guardian Angel. The Callisto will fall. Spooks gets that kill, and Cupcake's the last man standing. He will fall as well. They've done it. The Chiefs will march towards the base. The resilience from the Chiefs is though, and they are now at match point. Hello everyone, I would love to welcome you back to the OPL and get into this next game, but unfortunately we have another slight delay here because some people say Carbon is still twisted advancing off in the server somewhere and we can't get out of that game thanks to Chrono Break.
Chrono Break has done something to our servers. We can't get out of it, but we'll fix it and we'll get into game number 3 as soon as we possibly can. In saying that, this is now match point for the Chiefs. However, they've both been here before. Legacy have some fantastic players on their lineup. We just saw Claire go absolutely berserk. And I'm really waiting for Lost and Cupcake to work their way into this series. They've both been pretty quiet, honestly, Fish. They seem to have not had the laning phase that we expected them to have. I want to echo the sentiments of the desk and just play a kill lane. Like, play something that actually does big damage. I mean, or get the Trundle back out. Trundle Pillar plus Maokai means you absolutely cannot escape these bottom lane ganks. I'm really looking towards the Kiwis on the Legacy lineup to have an impressive game number 3.
Yeah, bring out the Leona, get the Bard or something in the bottom lane to kill everyone because Legacy needed something.
Heck, play Brand. I mean, these games are going late. Just play a damage threat.
Potentially. Well, we'll have to see what Legacy decide to do because they need to pick up a reverse sweep to set their date next Saturday against the Direwolves. The Chiefs, though, now at match point. We're going to go into a very quick break. We'll be back with the third game very soon.